The Battle of Alberta. Flames at Oilers Saturday night, the first Saturday night of the season. The Playercast, presented by Coca-Cola. We're going to be having you guys for 24 weeks. And first off, Craig's, I don't know how well Craig can hear us, but Craig Rivet, 16-year vet, played with me in Montreal, Sharks, Blue Jackets, Sabres. And I just want to thank Sportsnet.
You forgot Montreal, man.
We played together in Montreal. Hold on.
15 years.
And I just want to thank Sportsnet for finding someone in the hockey world that scored less goals than I did. So thank you for having Andrew Peters, tough guy, 10-year pro, about most of the time with the Buffalo Sabres, also played with the New Jersey Devils. We're going to be bringing in Jamal Mayers as well and guests weekly. Tonight we got the first game of the year, which we have on this. It's Calgary and Edmonton. So, boys, you're in your basements. We're sponsored by Coke, and I think, Andrew, you went a little far.
I don't think so at all. I think I actually did quite well. I know a Coke guy, and he hooked me up. I'll tell you that right now. I got 164 cases sitting behind me, PJ. So if you need one,
well, I'll need some later. We'll go with my rum. It's going to be a long night.
It is.
What's night number one?
Yeah, this technology stuff, man. Can I be honest with you for a second?
No, don't.
This technology, we're hockey players, okay? We got these studios set up here in our basement, and I'm sitting here thinking, man, like,
yep. Andrew's a little clogged right now. We got coming up, we have the Battle of Alberta Calgary. Or just a solo shot right now as we're having a couple of difficulties with it's week one. It's going to be awesome. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be awesome. Every week we're going to have guests on. We have what's going on for a cool thing that happened last year in the playoffs. Kadri, though, while with Colorado, gets hit by Evander Kane. Kane smokes him into the boards. He gets hurt, breaks his thumb, goes on to win the Stanley Cup nonetheless. He signs with, here it is last year, cross-check. Evander Kane got suspended a game. Kadri had to miss some games with a broken thumb. Nonetheless, he goes on to win the Stanley Cup, but leaves Colorado and comes and signs with the Calgary Flames. And what a summer it was for the Calgary Flames. All kinds of movement. We talked about this off air before the show because we wanted to show this. And there are so many moments that we've been sitting around preparing for tonight. And this is probably one of the favorite ones that we had, only because it leads to something. Now, Kadri's new. There's 91 in red, white, and yellow, taken off against Dryasaitl. So the question that we were talking about, Nazem Kadri's a first-year player now with Calgary. He gets run over by Kane, who's probably the most hated player on the Edmonton Oilers. Is it up to one of his new teammates to kind of even the score, or is it kind of a drop dish? And that's what we're going to be watching for tonight. There's no Tkachuk, so I don't know where the violence is going to come from. But hopefully there's a little bit because we have Andrew Peters and Craig Rivet with us. That's our first save, and one of the curveballs of tonight's game is, there he is. There's the big boy right there, 91, talking Mangiapane. Who's the guy? You have Milan Lucic is the guy on the Flames that can kind of even that score. So does he do it, or does he just do it because he hates Evander Kane? And I think everyone in the building's waiting for something. There's just not as many guys as there used to be. As you see, they're showing you the lineups. Dylan Dubé is a pretty tough character as well. Blake Coleman can play pretty tough. Trevor Lewis. There's depth and physicality with the Calgary one, but not as many guys drop the gloves anymore. So who is that going to be tonight? First 2 minutes is always going to be chaotic between these two teams as they end up just kind of running around and smacking into each other. I'm going to give some loves right now because there's all kinds of stuff going on in our ears right now. Garrett Hansford's in the studio, and so is producer Thomas Two-Sip Stewart, as they're trying to get our co-hosts to come on. We're having a little bit of trouble with the new technology of the way we're doing this. Face off to the left. Do you have sound?
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
I could hear you talking about the Battle of Alberta. I I want to know.
There it
Look
is.
at that, eh?
Already.
Already.
They were
Man.
so good against Colorado the other night. So good against Colorado the other night.
Yeah. Look, I mean, Trey Living made those moves, and I thought they were going to go from one of the best teams in the league to the basement when they had all those losses with Goudreau and then Monahan, obviously Goodbranson. And then they go and make that trade with Kachuk, and you're thinking, what are they going to be? And they're a cup favorite out of nowhere for me. I mean, I don't know, like the Mac Weegar.
We got Craig Rivet that's coming on in a couple seconds as well. So it was a great story, bloodline family between Weaver and Craig Rivet. Again, we're brought to you by Coca-Cola. There's magic when we cheer together. That's poetic. Playercast, Battle of Alberta, night number 1. Again, I think we lost PD again. It's going to be a long night of me. So I hope you're getting ready for it. And I think by the way this is going to be rolling, I'm allowed to drink a lot and swear at any point because this is the night it's going to be. Anyways, my point is, Evander Kane starts chirping things off right away. He's kind of the bad guy from last year. And I think it's karma. He's out there trying to do his thing. Calgary does a smart thing. Nothing kind of happens. It's 1-0. They played the other night against Colorado, and they were so good. We'll wait for the other guys to come on, and we'll go through all the moves that Brad Treliving had to do this summer to bolster up this Calgary lineup. And here's Milan Lucic. Of course, everyone remembers him from his days in Boston. Waiting for him to do something. In our ear right now, telling Craig Rivet to change up his headset. Put on the can, what they just told him. You know, we have to give a little bit of love to Edmonton as well, what they did in the offseason. I think one of the things that they did do, and, you know, he's enemy number 1 tonight, but the fact that they signed Evander Kane, Edmonton did, and the importance to what he is on that team, I think they were obviously a very 1-2 punch dimensional team last year with, you know, you go down the middle with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Not enough depth, not enough physicality, can only play one way. And now they can play multiple ways. This is better. That's better. We played less than 4 minutes. We got 2 goals, a couple of chirps going on. That's so much better. I miss the old days of the Battle of Alberta. The old one. When I say old, I'm going to date myself a tad, but Joel Otto, Theo Fleury, Al McInnes, Rick Natras, obviously Gretz, Messier, Young Graves. It was just growing up watching hockey. That was the series you wanted to watch every year in the playoffs. Connor McDavid, 97 with a little touch pass to get things moving. PD, we got you back with your Coke. This is you're welcome to the show because I've been talking to myself here for the last 10 minutes. Are you live over there?
Can you hear me, PJ?
Yeah, I can hear you.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, so I can't believe this 1-1 already. What were you saying? I couldn't hear you before. Sorry for all the technical difficulties. Like I said to you before, we're just hockey players here.
Let Cappy make his bets here. Anyways, lineup tonight, we have Lindholm with Toffoli and Jonathan Huberdeau. I want to talk about all the moves that they made. We're just waiting for Craig Rivet to hop on. Obviously, Craig Rivet, 16 years, 12 with the Habs, a former teammate as mine. We're all new technology, and is that another one already? Are you kidding me? Put some sound on this. Gee, put some sound on this. That can't, like, this is, I mean, I don't want to say that can't go in, but A, that can't go in, and B, that can't go in on so many levels. By the way, great goal. But I'm just saying. And here we go here we go. Here we go. This is don't throw it off. How do you do that? I've been sitting here talking to myself. Craig Rivet's in his basement, can't get his computer to work. Andrew Peters, a tough guy, drafted in the second round, was a goal scorer, ends up being a tough guy. He's supposed to jump on in these moments, and he's not. I'm sitting here by myself, getting ready for something to happen. That's the closest. The goals are fun, but I wanted to see a tad of violence. I love the new game, but I also miss a bit of the old game. And watch this. Ay. I think I can hear Craig Rivet kind of talking now, and he's trying to get on. I feel like Steve Dangle, except for a little bit more sane and not liking the Leafs as much. But just talking to myself in my basement right now. I did it all up. I got Gretz over here on the side. Basement's all pretty. I was all ready to make fun of the other guys, and they're not on. It's actually really easy to make fun of them right now because they're not on. Anyways, we got a little 4-on-4 hockey with the two guys being chucked in the box. Everyone wanted that to happen. The Riv. Hey, Craig, Craig is on kind of. By the way, this is week 1. By week 172, we're gonna have this thing mastered. We have Ribs on now, but can he hear me? Is the question. Ribs, make a sign. How about playing 4-on-4 and the two guys that you're playing against are the last 2 MVPs in the league? McDavid, and there's a penalty. McDavid and Dryasaitl. Good luck defense. And what do they get out of it? They get a 4-on-3. There's Kirky Muller. Kirky Muller, of course, played with the Montreal Canadiens, was assistant coach there as well. Yeah, hold on to this guy. Whoop. That's a slash. Oh. Oh my God, that's a slash. Hold on, rum and Coke time. And by the way, thank you, Coke. You probably don't want to be too thanked tonight, as we're kind of dealing with some issues. But once we get this thing moving, baby, it's going to be off the chains. 4-on-3 for 54 seconds, 53. I might as well just count it down, 52. Hey, look, our play's 26%. You know what? I don't like 4-on-3s. I really don't like 4-on-3s. You almost, because you always play a box, which is so silly, right? Every other way you try and create 2-on-1s. Every time you're on the ice on a power play, you can try and create a 2-on-1, so, right? But then when you go on, so here it is, he's on the side. He has no options there. So they're all actually, there's only one right-handed shot, and he's going to the front of the net. So there's just, it's funny. Watch how the power play creates a box. It's so easy to defend, I find. Of course, you're going to score. But Thank you for not scoring. Thank you for not scoring. By the way, in net is actually Dan Vladar, 6'5", 185 from Czech Republic. It's his third year playing. Played 1 year with the Bruins, a year of stuff with the Bruins. Only played 5 games, and of course last year with the Flames. But I don't get why we have it with all the. We haven't thought of a better way to play a 4-on-3. For some reason, everyone goes into this box formation or even a diamond. It just there's never anyone in the middle. I get that there's 4 guys, but there's got to be way more movement, way more something. I think outside the box. I'd almost pull my goalie. 5-on-3. They're not touching the puck anyways. The chances of scoring a 5-on-3 versus the other team touching the puck. I love this guy. He just said, I can read lips. He says, that was not a good call. Oh, he touched the puck with his hand. Hand pass, up the face off. You're not allowed to use your hand. The old Brian Strudlin. I actually learned that Brian Strudlin was when you take a face off, you tie the stick up and slide down with your hand and put it between your feet. And I did that for years. Here it is a 4-on-3 again. But they can't go. Go forward. I don't know. Oh, they're calling. It wasn't. No penalty. Just a whistle. They flag it down. Anyways, I don't know how Steve Dangle does this. And I'm going to need more Coca-Colas. Just throwing that out there. I don't need more Coca-Colas. I need the rums. Is what I need. I just need the magic. Speaking of magic, it'd be magic if the 2 guys that I'm supposed to be doing this show would actually come on and do it with me. I'm just saying. Little too many men on the ice action. McDavid's been complaining a lot. Just a lot. Uh-oh. Jesse Puljujärvi. He's the one guy, 3rd overall, I believe, years ago, and he went back to Finland 1 year. They've been trying to find a role for him every year. He's got the hands, he's got the body, he just doesn't have the speed. You know, I always say this, that everyone in the NHL is fast. Not everyone is quick. There's a big difference. Like every player in this league, when they get skating, they are so fast. And people at home, cameras don't do it justice, how fast these players are. The difference what separates the good players from the great players, well, 2 things. Their quickness, like how fast their first 2 steps up. And that's what put Connor McDavid in a different role. How quick they can get to full speed. Connor McDavid does it on his first step. And that's, here he is, boom, get going. And it's just that how fast can it, there's up. Look. And the other thing that is kind of one of the things that separates a regular player up is how quick, like 70 feet. Kidding? Kadri! Gee, put some sound up. Sometime. Gee, tell me when the sound's down. That looked like a young Craig Rivet. Oh man, I played defense growing up. Played junior in Victoriaville, and some of my best hockey memories were there. And I can't tell you how embarrassed or poor you feel. That happens all the time. Obviously, it happens a lot more at the lower levels because these guys are such great skaters. And I didn't finish my point, which I'll come back to, but what makes these guys so great. When you fall and they go and score and everyone looks at you and you go to the bench and the coach doesn't even want to talk to you. Hi, I'm PJ. How are you doing? I can hear Craig Rivet in my ear. I can hear all the producers. They're all yelling at each other, trying to get the other 2 guys on the show. But look how lucky you are. And I don't know how many times we're going to see Coke cheersing underneath us. I just wish they'd cheer somehow after they get Craig and after they get Andrew on. One of the things I wanted to give, the guys are amazing skaters. And what makes guys different is everyone's fast. Don't ever say guys aren't fast. I read your tweets and your silly social media. This guy sucks. He's too slow. They're all crazy fast. It's just how quick do they get to that top speed? And that's the difference. That's what separates so many people. And the other thing that separates so many people is how quickly you can adapt what's in front of you. How quick can you think the game? Like, how quickly can Andrew Peters and Craig Rivet know how to get on to this site that we've been practicing for the last couple of days on how to get onto? It's okay. It's okay. Some people do things quicker. Something people do things quicker. I'm not. Anyways, this is the first of 24 weeks, so just work with us. I'm telling you, we're going to have fun. We have some crazy guests coming up. It's only going to get bigger and better every night. It's a new toy. Enjoy the ride. You can see all the stuff. There's my picture with Gretz. It says, actually, PJ, it was great to play with you. You are my favorite player of all time. You had the most offensive skill set of anyone I knew. Thank you so much for teaching me during our time together. My favorite friend ever, Wayne Gretzky. Wayne wrote all that. There's a picture in Philadelphia, Boston. I was like all the teams wanted me. That's what happened. That's why I have all these extra jerseys. And we're back. There's no defense in this game. There's been 14 shots. There's 4 goals. Come on, Lucic, hit someone. Someone hit Lucic. Calgary up 3-1. Calgary looks so good. Again, we got a long night, and I want to give so much love to Brad Field for what he did in the summer. So, it's coming. Brad, just wait. It's coming. So much space on the ice. Though Calgary seems to be behind everyone, but there's a little saucer. So much space. Now you'd expect this to be a little bit more physical. Obviously, no Kachuk, but the animosity, the build-up, Battle of Alberta, and it seems like we got the '80s Oilers playing right now against the '80s Flames. Text my mom, see if she's watching. Hey, Ma. I don't know if I'm allowed to tell my mom. Can I FaceTime my mom? See if she's watching? I don't know if I'm allowed to, but Craig and Andrew won't talk to me. She's never normally up this late. I know a lot of people in the East Coast, we appreciate you guys being up with us. My mom's up watching right now, I think. Hey, text my mom. Gigi. We call her Gigi, which is for Groovy Grandma. Ma, you watching? Hey, cheers! Our Coke bottles are back. And another goal. Connor. This Calgary Flames team. Andrew, the only thing that he said before we lost them was that this team is, actually, put a sound up. Put it loud. You know, geez, I don't know if it's loud or not loud anymore. When can I jump in, G? You just let me know. It's a goalie switch. 9:42 left in the first period. We have 18 shots, maybe a hit. Everyone was expecting the violence. I forget which referee tossed a couple of guys early in the game for tossing each other. And just like that. Jack Campbell gets pulled, Leafs fans are like, I like it. I don't know Jack Campbell was more liked as a person. And I think that was the issue in Toronto. He was so like that as a person. How was he as a goalie, and were you willing to pay him that much? I thought it was a good move by Edmonton going to pick him up. I liked what he brought to the locker room, and I liked what he brought on the ice. Just not the start that Edmonton was looking for, as this was going to be a year-long battle. You know these teams are going to meet. Oh my God, that's Stuart Skinner's first shot on net. That looked like it went off the bar. Darnell Nurse out there for a skate. Had the opportunity of playing ball hockey with Sarah the other day at an event for road hockey to conquer cancer in Toronto. So everyone that came to that, cheers on you. And she ends up scoring about 50 more goals than I did. Hence, I'm talking to my computer in the basement, and the two guys that are supposed to be on the show with me are not on the show. Too easy. Two zones. The defense for Edmonton tonight. You got Darnell Nurse, Brett Kulak, former Hab, Ryan Murray, Cody Ceci, Evan Bouchard, and Tyson Barrie. Mobile, but just, I don't think they have the grit on the back end. Hey, by the way, my friend jumped back on. I don't want anyone to pay attention to him just yet. Producer, is Andrew allowed to speak now?
It's 4-1 Calgary?
You're not even watching the game.
PJ, I had to restart my computer, everything. What is going on here?
There's been one hit, and I was so excited. And then I was all excited. I teed you up. 6'4", tough guy, drafted as a skilled player in the second round, and then, well, you didn't score. You became one of the toughest human beings in the NHL.
Stop talking. Stop talking about me.
We're all excited. I'm trying to get to the point.
What happened in this game?
Listen,
what has happened in this game?
So then what happens? So the tone is kind of, the physicality gets taken out of the game, and they go to a 4-on-4 to get things going. And for about 6 minutes, it goes 4-on-4, 4-on-3, 4-on-4. And then you know what that happens when all those guys are allowed to play, all the skill players, it sucks the energy right out of a game, like the physical energy out of a game. And that's exactly what happened. It turned into a track meet. It just turned into a track meet. And it was
I'm the late guy getting to the garage to hang out with the buddies to see the game. And I show up wanting to see a good game. Battle of Alberta, and you're telling me there's no hits and it's 4-1 Calgary. Has Campbell been yanked yet?
He's yanked.
He got yanked?
He got yanked. He just got yanked.
My God.
He just got. Listen, normally I like to say people lives under a rock. As you can tell, Andrew Peters lives under a cave of Coca-Cola.
164
By the way, they are
cases,
our sponsor,
baby.
in case you haven't seen them chained underneath our. Okay, ladies and gentlemen,
Boys.
this Craig Rivet.
Let's go!
Hey! Hey!
Oh my God. So what did I miss?
Oh my God. I was getting so many texts like, this is so much better, just you. It's better. He's drinking. What are you drinking?
I'm 10 years sober, but not after this bullshit. This is technology crazy, gentlemen. No, I'm just joking. Just drinking a Coca-Cola, guys.
Hey.
Went great with
Cokes myself.
Went great with my burrito, by the way. Not sure if we can plug where I got it from, though.
Hey, so you guys missed. I'm trying to give you a little quick update of what's been happening. And everyone else has been watching. Calgary's built a certain way, and I think the knock on Edmonton, they weren't built that way for a bunch of years. They got Kadri last year, and it helped them a certain amount. No, sorry, they got Kane last year, and it helped them a certain amount.
A certain amount.
But they still have the issue on the back end. And I think that's what you're looking, the way Calgary's built themselves up. Physical, drive the lanes, still have skill set. And it's been just, they get the puck, they drive through the Edmonton D zone, and they're just getting opportunities against the defense corps. Again, Donald Nurse, Cody Ceci, Tyson Barrie, Brett Kulak, Ryan Murray, and Bouchard. Not the most physical group in the NHL. And that's kind of been the tone. Here it is again. Stolen puck, drive, get the puck deep, or offside.
Hey, Craig.
Yo.
Craig. I don't want PJ to run out of air. What have we said about Edmonton for the last 2 years?
Their depth on forward sucks.
No, they're a 2-player team.
Yeah, that too.
They're a 2-player team. Darnell
Yeah,
Nurse
but
is.
you know, listen, I mean, it's not just about a 2-player team, okay? Because there's other teams out there that have super high-end players that make a lot of money, and their teams, depth-wise, are way better. I mean, Edmonton, their depth. Can you tell me who's on the third and fourth line in Edmonton? I don't even know.
So my thing is with Edmonton, and I think there's players that you don't really understand their identity, and I think they might get put into the wrong chair position.
Like who? Give us an example.
I think Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is a player that shouldn't be your third line center.
What should he be?
Well, I don't. Okay, so
He should be a winger.
well, I don't think he's not. You have your Connor McDavid. We got that. Best player in the world, offensively, speedster.
Second best player in the world, but keep going.
I know, I'm just for the story. We got Edmonton fans and Calgary fans on here, okay? Just work with me. I've been talking for an hour by myself.
And bravo
I've
to
been
you,
sipping
PJ.
rum and Coke.
You
I'm a little
have done.
tired.
Hey, listen.
Okay, let me
Listen.
my point. My point
No.
is my point.
No, you have
No.
done an amazing job
You
tonight.
haven't heard. But I don't need my mom's watching.
So go on with your point. Make your point.
So my
Keep talking.
point
You've
is,
been.
you spend so much money on the top two guys. 25% of their salary is on two players. So now you got to put players in other positions, right? And it's tough. Not everyone wants to go to Edmonton. I'm saying it, and I don't mean it that way. Canada's a tough market for a lot of players. It's a tough, and everyone knows it. People in Toronto all know that. People in Winnipeg all know that. And Edmonton is, it's a tough sell. And now you're trying to get players. You can't get them. You don't draft well for a couple of years. And this is what you're stuck with. Like, you have players that are in the wrong seats.
Listen, I know who I was as a player. I know what my role was in the game as a player, but I played on a couple pretty good teams. And I'm just going to say this, and here's a little cheap plug. If you've listened to our podcast, you know how I feel about this. I'm sure Craig feels this way too. PJ, I'm not sure where you stand on it. And I can't believe I'm saying this on Sportsnet, but the Edmonton Oilers will never win a Stanley Cup with Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid will never win a Stanley Cup. Whoa, sorry, let me stop. Let me rephrase that. Connor McDavid will never win a Stanley Cup in Edmonton.
Yeah, so just so you know,
Why is that, Andrew?
That's a strong sentence, but I've gone on and said the same idea because I compare it to the Toronto Maple Leafs. And again, because it's Sportsnet's not going to want to hear this, but the Coke guys want to hear it. The Coke guys that brought in all those cases behind you want. I don't think Toronto's going to win with that core, and it's not. They're not going to win now. It's until they learn to play the way that they have to play to win. And until
it's because they'll never be able to draw. You already touched on it, but you didn't go right into it. They're not going to be able to draw the players to go to Edmonton just because they have McDavid and Dryasaitl. Like, if New York, PJ, if the New York Rangers called or the Edmonton Oilers called, who are you going to?
Who's paying me more?
Really? Exact same deal.
But you can say that
I
about
played for
like
the New York Rangers.
90%.
I had a talk with Gretzky before.
Craig, that was the first team that I pulled off the top of my
Well,
head.
hey, hold on.
Okay, I could have said Florida. I could have said Tampa. I could have said Colorado. I could have said even Pittsburgh maybe. But I just used New York for an example because I think they're going to be the best team that comes out of the East. So that's why. But they're just never going to be able to draw those players. Craig, I mean, don't tell me you don't feel the same way. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but
no, I totally feel the same way. Listen, when I was a player, we used to sit on the bus, okay? We would be playing in a city, just hypothetically, let's just say it was like Long Island, okay? And we'd be driving from the arena to the airport to fly out to our next city. And we had conversations just about, because we would be in that, what's the old Coliseum from in the island?
Nassau.
Yeah, Nassau Coliseum. And it's a complete
dump.
It's a complete crap hole.
And the hotel next to it, you'd have to, oh my God, Long Island was a nightmare.
We would get on the bus. We're driving to the airport to fly out to another city. And we would basically be leaving this terrible arena. And we always said to each other, like a group of guys, hanging over the seats. And we're like, okay, if you had to pick 3 teams that you would not want to go to, what would it be? And we had guys, like 85% of the guys
were what?
Wait, all of the same 3 teams.
Ask PJ what they were. What were the 3 teams, PJ? 3 teams that the teams mentioned. Craig and I have talked about this a bunch of times.
Winnipeg, Edmonton for sure.
Okay, Winnipeg wasn't in the league.
Winnipeg was not in the league.
Okay.
They came in the year that I went out.
Okay, so 3 teams.
3 teams.
Well, Edmonton. I don't know if I'd add Calgary on that list.
Oh, that's weird. Edmonton was number 1. Like, what? Like, what are we saying here?
I know. But, okay, let's go back to our...
And then who are the other 2? Before you move on, who are the other 2?
Jersey, Long Island, probably. I can't think... Here's
Buffalo.
Kadri's game, guys. While you guys were sleeping, this is what Kadri's done so far tonight. Slow down the whistle. Over here. Bump.
You know what? I'm so happy for that guy.
Yeah.
I'm so happy after the... Can I swear on here? I don't want to swear. I know there are kids watching. Listen. After the
you can
shit
swear
that he
whenever
went
you
through,
want. Just blame Rivet.
After the shit that he went through after Toronto, which maybe, one of those years you can blame him for, but then Colorado, and then everybody said, you'll never be able to win with Kadri. Well, guess what? Take that. I'm a Stanley Cup champ. And I love it, and I'm so happy for that guy. It's like, because we all want to find a fall guy and a hate guy, and I love the Leafs. I love watching the Leafs. I think the Leafs made a big mistake getting rid of him, but to shorten up my conversation here, I'm so happy for him.
That's a big hit by Zach Hyman on Rasmus Anderson, and we'll finish that in a sec. But just that's yeah. No one will look at that
for that.
That's a player putting himself in a really bad situation. He whiffed on the puck right there, tried to kind of get control of it again. And I mean, what do you want? Hyman to do? Stop.
Biggest problem with the game today is that all these players turn their back and protect the puck. I started learning it when I was 15, and PJ, you drilled me from behind in Philadelphia. I tore my chest muscle out for 2 months. Thank you. And you know what? And that I won't blame me. I'll just blame it on the fact that you couldn't stop. But
hold on.
Oh, no.
Okay.
And all they do is turn their back.
Well,
and
that's
it's
the
like
OHL.
Sometimes you got to put the onus on the guy getting hit. Now I got to see that hit again. But
you guys played in the OHL, all right? A couple of standouts in the OHL. But you guys in minor hockey and everything in Ontario were the first to do it. You put the stickers on the back of the helmets that says stop.
I was a little bit after my generation, and you know what?
What do you do? So what you do is you'd get the puck, and kids would turn their back because now you put the onus on the other person. Oh, it says stop. You can't hit me.
Can I ask you something though? As stupid as it looked, was it wrong? Like when I look back at it, I'm like, I don't want that thing on the back of my jersey. But when you look at it, you think about injuries, and you read that 11 seconds with Travis Roy from Boston, and you're just
can I bring something up here about the game?
Yeah, it's your show.
And this is something that I really like. The game right now is 4-1. Calgary is obviously doing some great things out there. They end up getting a power play with 5 minutes left. They have Huberdeau out there. They have all their big boys. Toffoli. Do you guys see who they had on the point on the power play? It wasn't Hanifin, who had 48 points last year. It wasn't Rasmussen, who had 50 points last year.
Weegar.
It wasn't Mackenzie Weegar, who had 47 points. They had Michael Stone out there, who in the game right now has 3 points. So that's great coaching. Giving a little pat on the back to a guy that obviously has played a good 15 minutes so far.
Are you done?
Is that what you interrupted our
Did you
conversation
stop
for?
us talking for that because you read a stat sheet and that's what you're excited about? He looks
That's
like
what
an
he does,
accountant
though.
right now.
That's
why
what he
he's all
does, though,
excited.
PJ.
He wanted
He
to do
just-
some numbers.
He just goes and makes it about himself, and that's what he does. Good. That was great, though. Craig, great contribution, though.
Okay, let's go back to something that we started the sentence, and I want to wrap this up because it's a huge statement that you said. And I think we got to clarify it a little because I started talking about it. Edmonton will never win with McDavid, or McDavid will never win in Edmonton.
McDavid won't win in Edmonton. It's going to be hard to bring in the surrounding pieces for him to win. Players are going to want to go somewhere else. It's like guys like me would love to play in Edmonton because we had limited places, limited options. Okay, so that's my only reason. I don't mean it by I would love to play in Edmonton. All I'm saying is the new age player wants to go play in
Florida.
Yeah. It's not Edmonton's
Tampa,
fault because
Dallas.
you ask any of those guys from the 80s, they'll be like, greatest place to play. I played in Buffalo, okay? And that was one of the teams that Craig was talking about that people would say they don't want to go to Buffalo. I'm going to tell you what, if you're good anywhere, you're going to love playing there. So maybe these guys in Edmonton, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. That's just that's an outsider's point, and it's only because of where you see the pattern of players signing around the league.
So this is something I'm going to say something about McDavid though, who there's two ways of always saying something bad about something. You say something bad and then you compliment them after, or you give the compliment before and then you shit on them. And that's kind of what I'm going to do right here. I'm going to give the compliment first. I think he thinks the game faster than any other human being because of how fast he's going. He goes Mach speed. When I'm going in one-on-one on someone, I have 5 minutes to think by the time I get to that body what I'm going to do. He has to do things so quick because that gap gets closing like that because of his speed. That's the compliment. Now, back to your comment before about will McDavid not win with Edmonton or Edmonton not win with McDavid. I do think there's Big Lucha. He looks happy, arms up in the air. I do think that Connor can get better in the 200-foot game. You don't win. Every team has a Bergeron. They win. You have a Crosby. You have your Ansi Kopitars, your Jonathan Taves. O'Reilly's. You need, and I guess that's the Dryasaitl a little. Dryasaitl is more of that guy. But until Patty Kane learned to play a certain style, Brad Marchand learned to play a certain way, the complement players, and I'm not saying by any means McDavid is, but I'm saying you need that second punch to play that 200-foot style as well. And
I just think you're asking him to do so
plays
much.
it going a lot north. I think he's focused so much on going north that there's a lot of little things in his game that I can't believe I'm saying this about probably one of the best players in the world. Do you want
to think about what you're going to say before you say it?
No, I'm just saying that
Okay.
I don't think he's going to win, and it's almost because I don't think Austin Matthews and that group is going to win because I don't think they know how to win yet.
Which team do you think has a better chance of winning the cup this year? Because the Oilers have McDavid, which automatically gives them a chance to win the cup. A chance, okay? Right. Now, the Leafs, I think, are a little bit better. If we could mute Craig's mic there, I think there's someone's mic. It sounds like he's trying to put it
Someone's heavy breathing in our ear.
Sounds like
Saturday
Craig's
night.
Put his mic up his shirt or something. The Leafs, I feel like they are a step closer. Although I know their goalie just got hurt, but I don't really know if he's the goalie for them to take them to the promised land anyway. But That's a conversation.
Matt Murray, FYI, people listening late game didn't hear earlier.
Yeah.
Matt Murray got hurt in the pregame skate today and was taken out and did not play. Toronto went on to beat Ottawa, but Matt Murray did not play. Go ahead, Ed. Go ahead.
No. And I was just saying, I feel like Toronto's roster right now is maybe the best it's ever been on paper. So this is probably, maybe arguably, their best chance to win this year in the last 6-7 years that we've seen their team. So of those two teams, which one do you think has a better chance of going to the promised land?
So the funny thing is, Toronto has, I go by comparables, right? So Edmonton's going to have to get through, I think, Colorado and Calgary for sure. Those are two teams for sure. They did get to the conference finals last year. Listen, they're not up to the best start, but they didn't look great in their first game either until McDavid and Dryasaitl kind of took over. But they can. They can take over. The problem is with this Edmonton Oilers team, they're built for the regular season. They're not built for, and that's Toronto a little bit that way too. They are a little bit more sandpaper now on that team. That's why Edmonton goes and gets Zach Hyman.
Did you see Elliot Friedman's conversation with Dryasaitl?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
What was it about?
Kind of everything, playing on two bad legs last year in the playoffs and learning what he
can go through,
what kind of pain he could endure to play. And then on top of it, he talked about what I thought was really cool. And I mean, you assume players of that caliber are close. I mean, I saw, like Drury and Briere in our years and guys like that and how their relationship was. So you have to assume that McDavid and Dryasaitl have a pretty tight relationship, which they clearly do after watching Elliott's piece. But my point is, he said to McDavid, he said, you can score 60 plus. I have no doubt in McDavid scoring 60 plus. It's just, does he have the surrounding pieces? Because he's not going to be able to play with Dryasaitl every night. And he can't play with Dryasaitl every night because their roster's so thin. They have to spread him out and put him down on the second line some nights. So it is what it is.
Listen, I mean, you can sit there, we can talk about Connor McDavid and, what he has to do to be a champion. I'm going to tell you right now, this has nothing to do with Connor McDavid, okay? This has to do with the surrounding cast that's around him. It is not as deep as other teams in the league. And you're going to win. You're going to win not with the best player in the world. You're going to win with the best teams in the world. And it's not just about having one or maybe even two elite lines, because that in the regular season, two great lines can take you a long way and win a lot of games in the regular season. The thing is, if you're going to win in the playoffs, you need 4 lines, you need 6 defense, and a lot of the time, you need 2 goaltenders. And right now, Edmonton has not had a good goaltender in a long time. Their defense right now, as far as I'm concerned, is, still transitional. They have some good pieces, but do they have the pieces that it's going to take to win multiple series in the playoffs? And do they have the depth in the third and fourth line to take them, deep into the playoffs? And I don't know if they do.
They don't. Well, they have enough skill to get through the first round easily.
Because of McDavid.
Because of Dryasaitl and Evander Kane. And they'll get through. And, it's you want to see McDavid go further. You want to see McDavid win. We want to see the Leafs win. Like teams, people want to see this, but I don't think they know how to. And one is Edmonton. They don't know how to because they don't have, I think, the body structure around it, as you're talking about the depth and the reason why they can't do it. They don't draft right, as Petey was saying. They're not signing guys. And Toronto is, you've locked up guys, long-term money, and if you don't win with these guys, you're damned because you built your team this way. Anyways, listen, we got 2 more periods. I'm just happy you guys know how to turn on your Ataris now, and you guys are going to be with. We're going to come back. We're going to tee this up right now. Brad Trelivy did an amazing job this summer when he had to get rid of it. He had to make a trade involving Matthew Tkachuk, for Jonathan Huberdeau, and a lot more pieces, Mackenzie Weegar, and a draft pick as well. Here it is.
What was the main reason in not wanting to go back to Calgary?
I wasn't that not wanting to go back there. I just think that with talking to these other teams, it was just I wanted to go down this route just a lot more. I wanted to be able to control, the next bunch of years. I wanted to be able to pick where I wanted to. Even though I wasn't technically a UFA at the time, I kind of put myself in a position to be one.
This was certainly seismic, both in the names of the players, the contract extension, and the time of the night.
So I got a call, and it was 11 p.m. Friday night. We got traded to Calgary, hung up, and I was just like, holy.
NHL trade that made you go, whoa.
You have a chance to add a player like Matthew to the organization. The price is steep.
What were your emotions like over that? What does a guy go through when you kind of get rocked like that?
2 weeks was kind of hard emotionally. I mean, I was there for 10 years, and they just told me, we're going to give you an offer for an extension, So I didn't really expect it, so that's probably what the hardest part was.
I want to be here. Like this wasn't me just getting traded and me having no say. Like I chose this.
Was there other teams involved? And
yeah, there were, but this is the one was above them all by a lot. So I think it just started. I talked to a few teams during that RFA period. First of all, going back 3 years, I never would have imagined myself signing a 3-year deal with Calgary back in 2018 or 19. Was committed to signing long-term, whatever. And then last second, the only deal that could work for them was that. So I ended up working out for me, putting myself in that position. And then talking to them during the RFA period to other teams, I kind of realized I'm like, this is the route I want to go down.
Here's Sheldon Rowe, passing the shot,
There's no better place for me to play the first 6 years. I tell everybody, you got to play in Canada once, see what it's like. It's a special place.
Yeah, and the extension too through all this. Talk about that. Everything happening and then compounding it with this massive contract.
I want to go there, and I want to be there for a while, and playing in Canada, it's going to be fun. And I think, Calgary, I thought it fit well for me, and we had a good team right away. And, we can have a chance to go win the Stanley Cup.
South Beach. There it is. That's the answer right there.
The culture that they have down there now, just seeing it and how it's just kept evolving the last few years with their team just getting better and better and better is something I want to be a part of, something that I can't wait to I just can't wait to get there. It's going to be unbelievable. Warm, this first time wearing shoes with a heel on it, in months. Drive golf carts everywhere except for the rink. It's just so different. I think that it's got to be the coolest place to play in the league, and I haven't even played a game from yet. I bring a different dimension than I think they had that I think that'll really help them on and off the ice. I know I can make them a better team. So I'm excited for the opportunity. They're going to make me better. Hopefully I can make them better, and it can be a bunch of years that I remember as the best years of my life. I'm here to win. Personal stuff, throw it out the door. I don't care. I'm here to be the last team standing.
Let's go, Calgary. You guys fired up?
Do you have a pickup truck yet?
I know, but I'm getting one.
You are?
Yeah.
They're probably lining up. Hey, come in here, check out this. You gotta get one, right?
Yeah, I'm getting a truck for sure. I always wanted a truck, but I mean, in Florida.
So you got the Lambo. I think I seen a picture, a powder blue or a blue Lamborghini.
Yeah.
Is that coming to Calgary or?
No, I actually had a Ferrari. I changed it.
It was a Ferrari?
I'm not a sports car guy. I think my baby's the golf cart I got. That'll be where I drive around everywhere except for the rink.
I might keep it in Quebec.
You got to get ready for the winters though, bud.
But maybe winter tires, top down in Calgary would be good.
Top down.
Welcome back to another edition of, this guy signed where in the NHL offseason? Let's kick it off with a bang. Johnny Gaudreau signed in Columbus. Yes, Johnny, we're just as surprised as you were. We can now officially brand it as the Battle of the Kachucks, with Matthew joining the Panthers in the Atlantic Division. You must be thinking, tough break for the Flames, Carolyn. Well, out with the old and in with the new as Calgary acquired Jonathan Huberdeau and Mackenzie Weegar. They also signed Stanley Cup champion Nazem Kadri, too. No big deal. It was a busy offseason for the Strome family. Dylan signed with Washington, while older brother Ryan signed with the Ducks. Frank Vetrano and John Klingberg are also kicking it in the OC. The Penguins acquired Jeff Petrie and locked up Rickard Rakell, which made us think, could this be the end? Just kidding. They got deals done with Malkin and Letang too. The NHL shuffled the deck on goaltenders. Jack Campbell heads west to join the Oilers. Alexander Georgiev hopes the Avalanche go back-to-back after Darcy Kemper departed for Washington. Billy Husso signed with the Red Wings, and Cam Talbot was traded to Ottawa. The Senators didn't stop there as they acquired Alex DeBrincat and signed local favorite Claude Giroux. David Perron added another jersey to his collection, signing with the Red Wings. Michigan-born Andrew Kopp also joins his hometown team. Kevin Fiala locked up long-term with the Kings. The Predators acquired Ryan McDonough and signed Nino Niederreiter. And good luck getting used to Andre Palat in anything other than blue and white. In about 6 months, you'll see Max Pacioretty play for the Hurricanes, where he's teammates with Brent Burns in his backpack? Yeah, that happened. Vincent Trocheck departed Carolina for the Rangers. Zach Kassian is giving it the old college try in Arizona. Pavel Zacha signed with the Bruins. Mason Marchment wears green now, and Max Domi signed in Chicago. Alexander Romanov looks like this now, since he was traded to the New York Islanders. There's a bunch of teams with new coaches. We're running out of time, so don't blink. And last but certainly not least, guys, the Seattle Kraken got a mascot. Oh, and they signed Andre Burakovsky and acquired Oliver Bjorkstrand, but yeah. The off-season is complete. Let's drop the puck.
Well, we're back, and you guys are back to the start of this one, so thank you. Thank you. By the way, guys, sportsnet.ca/magic moments. Our friends at Coke are giving away Cheers, Coke. Giving away $350 a week. So you go to sportsnet.ca/magic moments, and you put in a password. And this week's password, or the word of the day, or code word, is refreshing.
Refreshing.
Put in refreshing and hope for a chance to win up to $350. Well, there is $350 a week. So you all deserve $350 for the first week for putting up with us on that first period of action.
PJ, are you kidding me? I have all my buddies back home in Canada. My phone is literally blowing up and it's saying PJ Stock is unbelievable.
That's my mom.
Actually, it is your mom, PJ. Thanks.
And the gauntlet's dropped.
I didn't want to say anything, but
so
PJ, this is going to be the first time in your life you're going to be first star. So well done. Keep it up.
There's still 2 more periods. There's still 2 more periods. Anyways, you guys missed the whole first period, so let's rewind it and kind of show you what you guys kind of missed and who got on the board first. Recap. Period number 1. We don't have the viz? Oh. I just teed it up, and just the way things have been going, they just lost it. So, anyways, one team scored, the other team scored. Ribs couldn't get on his computer. Andrew got on, got off. We more or less said McDavid's going to have a hard time winning in Edmonton for different reasons. Calgary's built very well. Kadri had a great first period. Evander Kane started chirping.
Well, listen, just let me stop you there. You went and watched the whole period, okay?
Yeah.
The score is 4-1.
Yeah.
How the heck is that happening? Tell me what Calgary Flame right now just absolutely shredded it in the first period.
It's not them. It's more, and it goes back to what you were saying, Ribs. It's the way it's easy to play against them. Look, they're showing the lines right away. They're still showing the Edmonton Oilers lines up top when Backlund gets them on the board. It's a lost face-off. Puck goes to the point. No one clears out the front of the net.
And a lost battle in front of the net.
And no one gets in the lane of the shot. So lost net, losing puck battle there. The winger comes down too low, which everyone does. And it's just a lot. He's allowed. Touch him. Hit him. But look at all the... Ribs, in your area, that would have been a Sherwood across the back.
Listen, that's poor movement in front of the net, not boxing out properly. It's stuff that you learn when you're like literally 10 years old on how to box out in front of the net. I mean, then there's another shot from Michael Stone.
Exact same thing. This is what made it 2-1. Another lost draw. Winger doesn't get to the point. You don't clear out the front of the net. Campbell can't see anything, or he should have on this one anyways. And it's the exact same thing that you're... Here we go.
Why don't you jump on your Peloton, Riff?
What? You mean... I've never seen that before.
Riff spent $3,000 on that bike, uses it as his youth hockey equipment hanger. Sorry.
Tree hanger.
I'm like, when did the Peloton show up?
Hey, I'm going to tell you, you think I'm joking? I bought that. Cost me, I don't know, $3,000 or whatever. It was a great idea. I've ridden it 5 times.
Okay, my mom's on. My mom got on. We're good. It's good. Hey, Ma. Anyways, Ma, this is where Kadri scored his goal. Drove wide. Defenseman took a little there. Craig Rivet highlights. There he goes down.
Oh, my God.
Kadri goes wide. 5-pole on Campbell. And how you like me now. But again.
Hey, I walked Pavel Kabina like that in an exhibition game once.
Yeah. Exhibition game. But
so do we need to go any further than the defense? Like, who's the
defenseman
the defenseman that fell at the blue line?
Well, I don't want to.
I mean,
bring it up?
Like, you look at the last goal. I mean, again, you're just getting walked by. That is terrible defense. And then you're allowing Kadri to drive the net, and then you're allowing
Mangiapane right there.
Your goaltender makes the save. And then you're allowing another free shot on goal.
Hey, Riv, should the D-man have, instead of trying to drop down to a knee, just stay over there and attack him?
Well, you can see that. I think it was number 2. Again, number 2 standing on the backside where Kadri drove the net. That guy should be going into Kadri. There's no way you're allowing him to try and stuff something in front of the net. And I'm going to tell you right now, your goaltender. The goaltender makes the save. There should be no second shot in front of that net. And that's the second goal. That was an easy stuff in for the forwards on Calgary.
And hold on, PJ, one second. That's the communication that's talked about before the game, where it's like, hey,
coaching. That's coaching.
Yeah, it's whether or not the coach wants the guy to go or take away the backdoor pass. Is it not?
Okay, hold on.
Or are you saying that's like a standard textbook defensive play? I'm not questioning it. I'm just wondering, because PJ just said coaching. Sorry to sue you, PJ, but you did.
I don't know what coaching that is. I don't know what coaching that is.
But that
is not coaching in the NHL. You do not let a guy drive the net, and then you do not let a guy, Mangiapane, who's one of the smallest guys in the ice, get a rebound untouched in front of the net. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to score that goal. You're going to get some lumber. You're going to feel that goal. That goal that you scored in front of my net.
I was just going to say that.
You don't get lumber. You can't say lumber anymore.
It's true.
You can't say lumber. You get graphite.
Because the league wants penalties. The league wants power plays. Power plays lead to goals, right? Like, I have to imagine with scoring the way it was last year. Look, I'm not an analytics guy, but I watch enough hockey to maybe be able to put 2 and 2 together. And
that's math.
I know. Fourth line math, though, because 2 and 2 equals 4, PJ, and that's fourth line math. So that more penalties leads to goals. Like, scoring was up last year. We had like 1980 scoring last year.
It was
8-5 games. We had 10-2 games. We had, the Leafs pounded Detroit 10-11.
10-2.
Yeah, 10-2. So I have to imagine that's why, PJ. Because
no, it's the coaching now. It's the way the game. But it's not the coaching at this level.
Stop.
It's
You're
the way
telling
these
me
players are at younger levels. It's how junior is played now. It's how the game is evolved.
It's because they're calling penalties on them because Craig Rivet that was his MO. I mean, yeah, right, exactly. You know, but that was his MO. Craig, how penalized would you be in today's game? Come on, be honest for a second. I played against you. I wanted to kill you.
I don't know.
Well, probably a lot. Let me rephrase that. How much would you have to taper your game to be able to play in today's game? Like from the standpoint of physicality, because of the way the game is played.
It's hard to say. It's like
it's hard to say because the game now is not nearly as physical, like literally across the board, than what it was back when I played. Okay. The scuffles after whistles, there seems to be a lot less of it nowadays, which is great. That's the way it should be. I mean, why do
guys like us, and I mean that from the standpoint of we were the guys that went out and played physical, why do we still call for it then if that's not what the game is?
Because it's the right way of playing the game. I feel in the game that we played, there was guys that had roles on the team. Mm-hmm. I find in today's game, you have 4 lines of players that are exceptional skaters, exceptionally skilled. And the game is great right now.
Is it? You just complained. Pretty good about it.
I think he froze.
Oh, that was awesome. And look how he froze too, with his hand up like that.
He was about to say the game is great right now, because the game is great right now. But the problem is a lot of the old mindset style of play, I think it's hard to wrap our head around that the game of hockey is losing its physicality. But I think you can't blame them. I'm so happy that my style of fighter is out of the game, PJ. I don't know how you feel.
No, I totally agree.
But the stage fights, like I'm borderline ashamed of what my role was in the league. I mean, I have guys like Craig and other teammates that are like, we really appreciated what you did, and that's great. That makes me feel all warm and fuzzy. But it's better for the game, and I think the game is way further ahead with trying to clean up hit shots, especially than the NFL. So I don't want to go too far off on a tangent because I can go for hours on that topic. But
no, anyway. But as you watch, well, that's a conversation for another day because I can go with you as well. I think it's the compete on plays like that where if you just stop, so if that defenseman doesn't drive past him, like when he's backing up, there's a certain zone where he has to put the brakes on. Instead of backing up and getting ready to keep moving forward, he's got to be, you're not coming into this house, right? This is, so I just think that but again, going back to the, you can't hit me sticker on the back of your head, and players, way more players coming from all over the world right now who've all grown up playing a different game where there's not a lot of amount of physicality on the European size ice because the ice surface is so big. So it's all about shielding.
PJ, violence is an appropriate word, okay? Like the game of hockey was violent. It was violent, okay? It was less violent when I played, but it was way more violent prior to that. And with sticks, there he is. Wow, the legend is back. Yeah, is that, you think so?
No, I So now we can hear Craig, but can't see Craig.
Was a big part of the game, right? Today's game is much different. It's the way that the game of hockey should be played. But don't tell me, PJ, when we're talking about boxing out in front of the net, that players in the NHL today are coached differently.
I do think so, totally.
I don't think so at all, because
So I'm going to tell you something that started in with fronting. Was the term used. Chicago Blackhawks were the first team to start doing it when they won the Cup ring. So what they do is, instead of even clearing out the front of the net, the defenseman tries to block the shot. So the shot comes from the point. The defenseman doesn't even care about the guy in front of the net. He tries to block the shot.
yeah,
And the guy that goes towards the defenseman who's taking the point shot, he doesn't, once the shot's gone, he goes past the defenseman. So ideally, that shot gets blocked by the D, and it's a bomb pass to a guy who's taken off. And that's just, there's no, and they were successful. And in all sports, and it's a lot of copycat leagues. And I think then you start seeing, like, we spend so much time, I have friends that are coaches, and I have friends that are coaches at different levels, collegiate and pro, and the skill set of the players are off the charts today. They just don't think the game. They think it all as individual skill sets. They don't think it as the team play. And you guys said it before. It's not the best player that wins. It's the best team that wins. And so many players don't understand where they fit in the structure, and they play their own game, which is, I mean, everyone's thinking offensive side. Everyone's on the offensive side of the puck. Let's let this breathe for a second. I'm tired of listening to that. Let's let this game. Put some volume on this game.
Listening to us, DJ. You've been the only one talking, even when
you're
we
like
are
a hot air balloon that we just popped. Like,
I'm gonna talk to my mom if she's still there. Ma, you still there? I think she's not there. She didn't hear the first period. Poor lady.
There it is. They stretch it out. They just stretch it out. That's the new game. I mean, I watched a lot of Ottawa Buffalo the other night, and there's just a lot of stretching.
Every team sends a forward. So watch this breakout right here. There's going to be an Edmonton Oiler at the far blue line. Okay, where is he?
Yeah.
There. So what does that do? It pushes the defense so far back that it creates that gap in between their defense and their forward. And he goes up and cuts across. So he sucks both defensemen back, and he creates a huge gap. And that's where you hopefully have your Patrice. Look, defenseman at the blue line.
That's an unreal pass. From a backhand, from a right wing, backhand cross ice. Who made that pass? That is an incredible pass. I'm a left-handed winger, and that's a pretty nice pass.
I had that in my game.
No, you didn't. Let's try to be honest here. This is a new, fresh lease on life here. You did.
Look at the battle. No. Ah!
Look at those guys blocking shots. Sutter's got it all of one. Well, he might have fallen. Two, he's going down twice. It's unbelievable.
There's a box out.
That's
Reg,
a
you
big
should be happy
save
on
right
that one.
there, gentlemen. You can remember that one.
That's Hanifin.
We've got 15 minutes left in the second period, and if that becomes a 4-2 game, you've got life for the Edmonton Oilers.
Remember what happened with Edmonton and Vancouver? They were down 3-0. They were down 3-0, right? And McDavid comes back, 3 goals, 1 assist.
It was mind you, both teams weren't great.
I don't care about that.
I'm just telling you, I watched it. It was a little bit like watching paint dry for a little bit. Well,
but you got to see McDavid show up.
I know. I agree.
Pay for. I mean, that's what like, and if he wins a championship or not, I mean, he is selling out buildings all over he would be like the Michael Jordan without the championship. Look at that play.
But do you see how easy that was out of the zone? First off, compliment to the speed, how fast they can move the puck, and the skill set. But at the same time, that skill set now, you look for those guys on defense. You want those guys on defense to be able to skate and move pucks and make plays. So it's hard. It's not often you find a guy like Moritz Seider in Detroit, who's a big body who can skate and play physical. You have a lot of guys that are physical, or they can skate well and they're offensive. There's not a lot of guys that are kind of combos. Noah Finn is kind of one of them.
That's because
who was that? A Noah Finn?
Who the heck is that?
Noah Hannafin.
That's a
Hey,
great.
it's been a long night.
Oh my
Noah
God,
Hannafin.
Noah Finn.
I'm like, did I say that?
Oh, PJ, you said that, man.
Stroke.
You know, the funny thing is nobody wants to be a solid defender anymore. Everybody wants to grow up like Cale Makar and, you know, Quentin Hughes and all these young whippersnippers that literally are glorified forwards that play defense.
Ben Sherratt is a great example of someone that has success, has a great career as a guy that can play the back end.
That's right.
But it's not sexy. And that's why I said back to coaching before, all these teams are looking and all the kids are being, the kids that rise are the ones that can skate and score those, I'm going to call them sluggish defense, we call them that. You know, those physical defensemen, which you need to win. You don't win without those guys.
Your Gudises and guys like that. Hey, PJ, can I just say one thing that might have been lost in the technical difficulties in the first period?
Yeah.
For everybody listening, I just want to say that Mackenzie Weegar is Craig Rivet's cousin.
Yeah. Let's break that down, Riv.
So I just wanted to mention that because I think that's a pretty cool factoid. We're sitting here watching the Battle of Alberta, and you know, Craig's cousin, he wears number 52. Craig's very humble. The Rivet family is super humble. If you know Craig long enough, you'll learn that the guy's like incredibly humble for all of his accomplishments. But there's now a higher earner in the Rivet family tree. And now Craig is just a proud papa, man. He's like, I call him Uncle Craig because he's so much older than, I mean, I call him Mac because I met him once, right? But Mac Weegar, and I just wanted everyone to know that. And that's why he wears number 52 as well, is because of Adam Foote. Craig.
Yeah, right, yeah. I knew that was coming, right? But listen, I mean, Mackenzie was, I remember I was in the NHL. I was a really young guy at the time. I remember, you know, my uncle bringing Kenzie to Montreal, and he was just a little baby at the time. And now to think about him in the NHL, I do know this.
6.25.
Yeah. 6.25 Schmelly.
Oh my God.
You know what's cool though for the family? You know, my entire family. You know, a family member, and it's pretty cool.
Oh, there's Lucci. Yeah, it is. It must be cool, and it must be cool that you don't have to buy the beers anymore, Rivs, because you got a cousin that can buy a couple now.
Oh yeah.
Well, you know what's amazing, PJ? Is that he wasn't even allowed to break the news. It's like, throw the guy a bone, you know? He's on this killer podcast called After the Whistle, right?
What's
and
it
you'd
called?
think After the Whistle, and you'd think that Craig would be able to break his own cousin's news. There's McJesus right there. I love the jersey flap. But anyway,
And there's a penalty, of course, and what he does, and that's why he's so fast, so fast. We don't give him enough. There you go.
That's a little late.
That's a lot late. You're good. Oilers going to a power play, and Revs, you said this before. Oilers need this goal now. Like Calgary doesn't have the team that's going to give you 3 goals in 5 minutes, like pretty much the way Edmonton did it the other night. They need.
Well, that's the thing. Who scored all the goals to get that back in the game and win it? It's Connor McDavid.
It's Connor.
He ended up scoring a hat trick. He had 3 goals and 1 assist. But I'm going to tell you, he's the greatest player in the world. I will tell you this right now. Connor McDavid is the greatest player in the world. It's undeniable. I don't want to hear any argument. But let me tell you, he is not going to be able to do it every night. You look at how much he played. He played 24 minutes as a forward. Eventually, at what point in time are you going to wear this guy right out? He needs secondary and third scoring to help him out. He's literally doing so much of this by himself in Edmonton. And that's why I think they're going to have a hard time.
They don't have enough guys to help him
don't have
score.
enough.
And they just, I don't know, like, if teams will ever figure out a way to play against Connor McDavid or shut him down completely. I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can.
You can. You can. You keep him on the outside as much as you can and squeeze him up. Like, you just take away the middle, take away the side. It has to be two players at all time. It's like any other.
Well, why isn't someone doing it, PJ? Because it's been going on. He gets 120 points a year.
Regular season, they call the stuff that is, it's different. I'm just saying playoffs. I'm like, you're not going to do anything in the regular season because if you touch him with a stick, you're getting two no matter what. Like, that's the regular season rules. If you just touch him, and he's so fast. Just go to the outside. Leave him on the outside as a secret, but he's so fast and he comes with so much speed. And you put your stick parallel to the ice at any time, they're calling it. Anyways, let's watch this.
But hold on a second.
Let's watch this power play for a second. They need this. Dryasaitl is so important. I think Dryasaitl is.
Hold on a second, and he just keeps going. Sorry.
This is a big PP right here for this hockey team. And they give up a 2-on-1. Wow.
Here he goes.
Another big save.
Yeah.
Another big save on Dryasaitl. These, or that maybe that was Evander Kane, but I'm going to tell you, these are saves that are game changing. There's only
I'll tell you what,
they're halfway into the game. The game's 4-1. They score one goal, and the mood changes on both benches.
How about the cojones of Sutter to not start Markstrom in a huge pivotal game? He starts Dan Vladar.
And like, do that.
Why do you think he did it though?
He says there's 82 games in a season. We got to spread it out. I think it's an amazing move if your team responds the way it did. And it gives him so much confidence. It gives the team so much confidence. Here's, let him just go through everyone.
Well, if this young kid's going to play in the league, he's going to have to see McDavid at some time, and he may as well see him now in case they got to see him later on in the season.
Great point.
Like, you think about it from the standpoint of strategy, it's like,
wow. Look at this play by Evander Kane.
They scored the same way the other night. They have McDavid float around on the outside. Dryasaitl found him. Put the sound up, G. Let them hear this one.
It's a great play by Kane.
I'm going to tell you, man, that's an unbelievable signing. If they can keep him on the straight and narrow there, like, that could just be, we said it last year, maybe one of the best signings last year with the way it was paying off there. But
there's your goal, Ribs. 4-2.
Listen, there's half a game left. And now you're sitting there, you have the Edmonton Oilers are sitting there thinking, okay, we're only down by 2 goals, and we have.
And the right guy got it. Eh?
Well,
and the right guy scored it.
Yeah. He's in their head, right? And I'll say this now. How do you pronounce the goalie's name? Vladar,
yeah.
Vladar, Darth Vladar. He's getting nervous too, because he knows if Connor comes down on him one more time and pops one home. Look at this. Stretching guys out and puts another one home. You get, your whole bench gets tense, but what do you think the goalie's feeling? That's why you should have started Markstrom for this moment, but we'll see how it plays out here because we got the rest of the game.
There hasn't been one team that I'm watching the game that I feel is dominated completely. I know Calgary,
Who was that
obviously
tried to
in the
step
first.
up there? Sorry. What were you saying, Riv?
I just think when you watch the game, it seems like it's pretty back and forth, you know? Like, this is going to come down to who's going to make the mistakes. And mistakes come in the form of bad penalties and giving the other team an opportunity to score goals, which happened with McDavid's goal. You can't give these guys penalties. You have to stay out of the box.
You know what? I teed this up with my notes when I was getting ready to do the intro, and I was all excited. I went through like moments in the last couple of years of hits, Battle of Alberta, you know, and I was thinking it was going to be so physical, and I was, you know, the Kadri on Kane, which we showed earlier, Kane on Kadri, and, you know, his first game back. There's not a lot of physicality in this. And I
Did
think
anything happen in the first period with those two?
In the first 2 minutes, that's nothing. And I think that is completely advantage Edmonton.
Does it
like Edmonton right now wants to play this.
Does it change circumstances because it's not the same team? Like Kadri.
Well, I was asking that before. Like, do you almost
Two
feel
words.
like your new teammate, you want to do something because he can't? But there's no one really that would do it.
Well, that's awfully
Lucic.
selfish for him to go settle a vendetta that happened on another team. Like, and now it's on your new team. To go and maybe take liberties on a guy on your new team and put them down against arguably the best players and the couple of the best players in the world.
Bad call there.
That's a stupid move on his part. So he probably was told let it go.
Yeah, you know, listen. I mean, there's some changes on both teams. Okay. You know, the biggest pest, the biggest agitator is not even on the ice right now. His name's Matthew Tkachuk. He's playing in Florida. You look at all the scrums, you look at the fights, the dirty hits, the irritation. He was in 95% of it. He was the one that was always throwing the fuel on the fire.
Should have seen him today in Buffalo, PJ.
Watch
afternoon game. He absolutely... You know, like when guys like that are terrifying everybody on the ice, there's a problem with your lineup.
Well, with the league though, because there are no more guys like that. That's exactly
what do you mean?
That's the new player. There's not. They're like unicorns. You know, there's
Ryan Reeves, Tom Wilson, those guys are
one per team.
For what they do.
They're you know, Tom Wilson's different. First rounder, plays on the kind of first line but. You know, the Tkachuks play a certain style, and they're on your first line, so they're doing it against guys that are not Ryan Reeves and Watson, so they kind of can't because they're not playing against those guys, which makes them really, really special, and it is amazing considering what Tkachuk got. And congratulations to Brad Treliving. I know we showed it in between the first and second period, and Sportsnet has broken it down a few times, but we talked about Mackenzie Weegar. He's a stud defenseman. Jonathan Huberdeau had one of the best years ever as a winger in the National Hockey League. You get Cole Schmidt. Noah Ribs, you're pretty high on him. Third round, 81st, had a good year with Charlotte. And a first round pick. Is that's how the league
buzzing. They're buzzing.
The value of a Matthew Tkachuk because they're unicorns. And you're right. Here's the game. This is exact. You did not play physical against Edmonton, and now they can skate.
Calgary won the trade. No matter what Tkachuk does in Florida, Calgary won the trade.
100%.
No question.
No question.
No question whatsoever. Calgary, absolutely. You look at what Brad Treliving did to this team. Now you have your number one unrestricted free agent in Johnny Gaudreau, who says that he does not want to sign with the team. So he leaves the team for nothing. This is devastating for an organization when you lose a player like this.
For nothing.
Then all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, it comes out that Matthew Tkachuk refuses to sign a long-term contract and wants to be traded. So what is Brad, like everybody in hockey land was now thinking that the Calgary Flames are going to the bottom of the standings.
I did.
Okay?
Guilty.
Everybody did. And you look what this man did. He goes out and makes a trade for the second leading scorer in the league last year in Jonathan Huberdeau, 115 points, okay? Had more assists than any player in the National Hockey League. He picks up Mackenzie Weegar, who's a number one pair defenseman, who had 47 points, okay? Not a bad D. Picks up a first-round draft pick and picks up a player that is going to play in the NHL very soon in Cole Smith.
Okay, so Craig, like, I know Mackenzie is your cousin, and PJ just said, family member, but tell everybody what Mackenzie is, because a lot of people lean on analytics these days. I like to watch the game and make an opinion of players, but I will take analytics into account when it comes at times. But what people don't what people don't understand about Mac Weegar is that 5-on-5 points last year, he was what, Craig, number one?
Well, 2 years ago, the last 2 years, he's been in the Norris Trophy voting, okay? 2 years ago, he was the number one defenseman in the league for even strength points. Last year, he had a solid season again, had 40, I think it was 47 points or something like that, if you look it up. But he's more of a defender. I'm not, like, as much as he can move the puck, he's an exceptional puck mover, but he defends very, very well. And, he's just a skilled guy. He's a two-way hockey player. Oh, no. Did they score again?
You know what I was
Gentlemen, I told you.
Right off the draw, like you said, here we go.
Who's
just
this?
like that.
Cloud. Another lost face-off.
Yeah. Wrong. Like how? Look at every. the box out. Good box out.
That is a beautiful goal right there.
Listen. Why are goalies going down like this? I don't understand this, man. Stay on your feet.
Is that so? We have 3 goals off face-off.
Look at, he's down again. I'm telling you, like, the way goalies are taught, I know I'm going to sound nuts. People are going to be like, you're absolutely crazy. And I understand what I'm saying. But these goalies are taught to go down. Slap shot from the point, go down. Like, how about someone stand on one side of the open net, you stand on the other side of the open net, and stay on your feet. You can't get beat upstairs. These guys.
Yeah, but you got to listen. I mean, a lot of these goaltenders right now are 6'4". I mean, when they're sitting on their knees, they're still bringing most of the net.
Yeah, they're okay. So they're 6'4". Go back and play that again. Does he look 6'4"? He's like, I'm 6'4". Okay, and I know that when he crouches down like this, he's like 5'4". So all I'm saying is, this has been something that drives me nuts for years. And I remember anyway.
There's a penalty. Calgary going on. This could have just ended the momentum right here, though. Flashing on the hand of Coleman. And here they go back to the power play. So the Cloud gets the goal, gets excited. And what do? And this happens a lot. Guy gets a little excited, scores a goal.
This is the penalty kill of the game right here.
Yeah,
this is the penalty kill of the game.
When I coach my kids' teams, I'd always, whatever line scored and they all celebrated, I would take that line off the ice right away and I'd put them back at the front of the door. And I'd let somebody else go because you get so excited. And that's exactly what happened on that play right there. And again, so excited, you got a little jump in your step, and what do? You get a little too excited on the next play, and you slash a guy.
Yeah. Hey, Riv, while you were gone, I was saying this is a massive penalty kill for Edmonton because your team on the bench in Calgary or on Edmonton, they're sitting there saying, get us a kill.
Oh.
Look at this, blocking shots. Look at this. They know that this could be the game here. Your team can get a ton of life with a solid penalty kill right here.
Well, look at what happened with the McDavid goal.
Right.
Look at what happened with the game's 4-1.
Yeah.
You give the best player in the world and Leon Dryasaitl, who you could put in the top 5 an opportunity on a power play. Evander Kane making a beautiful play, the goal scored, and now it's 4-2. That's life for Edmonton.
Yes, it is.
This is a big penalty kill for Edmonton.
It's an aggressive penalty kill too. They're moving.
Yeah.
They're moving a lot. I wouldn't shoot it yet.
McDavid is just saying, get this over with.
Yeah. But the forwards now, they're tired for Edmonton. Moving around. Those guys are done. Look at them. Look, the two. So you got to move this side to side because look, the forwards can't keep up now. No.
Big save.
I was just saying you gotta
move that around. Now. That's a terrible shot.
That is a terrible. That's like wingers that come down the wing and take that wrist shot into the goalie's glove, and you're the forward driving the net. You want it like near the net on the floor.
Hey, go easy on us, PJ. That's the only I only had a few shots a year. It's hard to get scoring chances in this league,
but
man.
just put it off the pads. But my point
well, listen, they should. The Edmonton penalty killers were exhausted.
Exactly.
You saw Darnell Nurse come off the ice. He basically has been sprinting around for 1 minute and 30 seconds. Move the puck.
That's a bad choice. Bad. I mean, and your chances of scoring from the goal line on your offhand on a redirection, unless your name is Sedin, getting a pass from another guy whose name is Sedin, you're not getting one there. So that's a bad choice, and what it does, you talked about the importance of that goal. That was a bad decision. Those little minute moments in the game that can change things. That could have been a Calgary goal, and just like that, they got to change. New power play's done. 2:17
I got to tell you,
left.
PJ, when I came on here in the second period, I was just thinking, man, I was hoping for a better game. And we have a game. We have the best player in the world.
Yeah.
Down by 1 with just a couple minutes to go in the second.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this.
Can you just, again, actually, I know who Ribs is. I love the way Ribs keeps freezing. Like he's frozen. Oh,
I'm not frozen, bud.
You're just in high speed, PJ.
Yeah. You guys have, what's the McDavid jersey over your shoulder? Obviously, you're cheering for someone.
No, he was just an autograph sniffer one day outside the rink standing there.
No, so they're just telling us now. We get talk in our ear while this is going on. And listen, again, it's a process. It's week 1 for everyone watching, and we appreciate it. I know there's comments kicking in as well as people are texting me as well. We would like to, hold on, take a second. Say this again in my ear. Everybody, I have to thank everyone on the stream. So thank you to everyone on the stream that's watching right now. And of course, thank our friends at Coke is what he just said, as I haven't thanked Coke 10,000 times tonight. But thank you.
PJ,
thank you very much, Coke.
You have something in your teeth, PJ.
We got thousands of fans on the screen right now. And again, considering how choppy it's been, it's going to be great because we're going to add a bunch of cool stuff in. We're going to have cool guests next week. I think it's, are you two doing it next week, I think? Is it just you two? I think, but we have potentially Ryan Miller. We have general managers coming on. We have ex-players. We have singers. We have all kinds of people coming on over the year. Tonight was the night of kind of like, getting the dust off our equipment that's been sitting in the bag over the summer. There seemed to be too much dust on it. Some termites got in and ate some of the wires and the skates. But it's going to be a real fun year. So again, us three, Jamal Mayers is going to help out a bunch. Jamal, of course, St. Louis, Chicago won a cup there. He's going to be kicking in, and it's going to be a lot of fun stuff and guests every week. So a lot of times in the second period, we're going to bring someone on every week. So it's going to be really fun. So thanks for being part of the process. And you guys, any hate mail you want to send to me, you can send it to the instigators.
Oh, who?
Who?
Oh,
after the whistle. After the
So
whistle.
my Twitter handle is
the instigator.
@theinstigator76. I want to change that, but
I think I lose my blue check mark, and my ego can't handle that. So I'm just hanging on to it. Unless someone at Sportsnet wants to help me get my blue check mark back, I gotta change that thing. But until then, it's at the Instigator 76.
And the podcast?
After the Whistle. And listen, I never toot my own horn ever. But
Talk about.
Okay, it's true, I do. But allow me to toot it again. Listen, PJ, we were on the radio for 5 years in Buffalo, and we decided to branch off and do our own thing, and we started this podcast called After the Whistle, and we reached out to some special people to join our show and be regulars on our show. And those, like our first call was to Elliot Friedman. He joined us every Monday. We called Jeremy Roenick. He comes on every Wednesday.
Yeah.
And we have, Thomas Vanek comes on now every week. We just had him on the other day. It was absolutely, and there are guests that are going to come on our stream here too. We'll bring them on for periods and nights where it's just Craig and myself for the 14 games that we're doing together. But, before I plug any more about our show, Thomas Vanek spoke, PJ, to things that we can't relate to, and that was goal scoring. And it was
for yourself, Mr. I only have 4.
Well, I blame Lindy for my career. I don't know who you blame. But,
oh my God, I got a bunch of coaches I blame.
So my point is, Thomas Vanek, and I'm not saying this to the people listening because I want you to go and listen to our show. I want you to do that anyway. But Thomas Vanek broke down in such an analytical way how he mapped out goals throughout the season because of how many goals he was expected to score and how he knew how to score, where he knew to score from. Then he factored in the odd breakaway, and he was mapping out his goals. And I don't know how you felt, Craig.
Yeah.
But I always wondered how these superstar players think and process the game and how they analyze their own game, because
it came down to like people asking. So we were talking about the young stars in the game, the young Stitzel kid in Ottawa that just signed an 8-year deal for $8.35 million. You have Thomas and Kyrou for the St. Louis Blues that signed for $8 million. There's a lot of players that have signed. They're very young. And we talked about Thomas Vanek. He was only 2 years in the league and then signed that offer sheet
by Edmonton.
By the Edmonton Oilers. They offered him $50 million for 7 years. And we asked him, how is the pressure? How is the pressure of having to score goals? And he was like, I never had pressure. The pressure that I put on was through the inner workings of the team and doing it together. And we talked about, yes, but I mean, you're paid to score goals. And he told us a story about at the start of the season, the media was asking him, like, how many goals are you going to score this year? Like, what's, are you going to score 50? Or are you going to score 45? And he in his head told us how he calculated the goals that he was going to score, because he is one of the best net front players in the league. He goes, okay, that's 20 goals right there that I need to get in an 80-game schedule. On the power play, I need 7 more.
The odd breakaway, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm really good off that left side, step to the middle, chip shot. He's like, that should factor in for 5. He's like, so I'm at, 30, 35 right there. And I'm just, and in my mind, I'm thinking, I couldn't tell you what I was thinking. I was just like, it made me realize how bad of a hockey player I was.
Guys, we're going to, your guest on Mondays, Elliot Friedman, is on with Jeff Merrick and Ron McLean. And every week on Hockey Night in Canada, they bring you your 32 thoughts. And we're going to throw it to there, and we'll see if your Monday show guest, Elliot Friedman, plugs Thomas Vanek.
Well, he was last year. We're waiting for him to get back to us about this year.
But don't tell him.
It's kind of like a big deal, you know.
Yeah, he seems to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Ron, Elliot, Jeff.
Jeff Merrick and Elliot Friedman. Breaking news, Elliot.
Washington's one of the teams we have tonight, Ron, and they're going to be signing Sonny Milano. Milano went to Calgary on a PTO, didn't make the team, but sounds like a one-year, one-way deal with the Capitals. He does have to clear waivers first, and the plan is to start at AHL Hershey.
So you two have been trying to find measured voices for about a month now as we deal with this crossroads of social mores and values for Canadian hockey, for also society, sport. Let's start with Hockey Canada, Jeff.
Okay, so today a full day of meetings with Hockey Canada, the board, and also the 13 members. And coming out of it, there's a new bunch of bylaws that have now been passed. This is all under the umbrella of the recommendations in the Cromwell report. So these are new. So now all applications for the board have to be vetted by the nominating committee. Again, that's new. And the new board will serve for 1 year. It'll be an interim or transitional board. That will be the capacity. And interesting, along with the board as well, what they're looking for board members is experience, not just in governance and also board experience, but also, and this is unique, they're looking for experience in crisis and change management, cultural evolution, and financial acumen. They want a board that's diverse in both appearance and thought, Elliot. And this is new ground, because for the first time that at least I can remember, the members have issued a statement as well. That is new. You wonder if at the end of all of this, they will have more say in what happens with Hockey Canada.
Jeff, one of the names that Canadians are wondering about to help rebuild Hockey Canada is that of Hayley Wickenheiser. And Reach today, the four-time Olympic gold medalist, said she hasn't been contacted by anybody to come help and therefore hasn't spent a ton of time thinking about it. But if the desire is there to have Hayley Wickenheiser step in and be a part of the group that rebuilds this, of course, it's something that she would think about.
You know, and one other name, and this is one that I was told specifically to watch for or pay attention to this week, and that is Therese Brisson. Now, she's a former national team member, number 6, gold medalist, silver medalist as well, right-hand shot defender. She's currently the president and CEO of Alpine Canada. She's worked for Procter & Gamble before in marketing, sits on the board of the Canadian Olympic Committee as well. She's described as no-nonsense, highly intelligent. Ron, this is one name that keeps popping up. You've mentioned her name before as well. And I guess really when it comes to the replacement for Scott Smith as CEO, you know, one of the questions we have is, will the next leader of Hockey Canada be one person or will it be two? Do they go back to that model?
Therese would be sensational. Mark Fraser at the Toronto Maple Leafs, to me, is a name that jumps out. Ryan Francis was up for the Willie O'Ree, has worked with provincial sports organizations, with government officials for me. Brad Morris was with the CWHL. Brad is sensational and a long-term ardent supporter of inclusivity.
Wonder about Brad as a member of the board.
Yes, I think he needs to be part of that council, much like the Respect Group. You would always go to Sheldon and Wayne. Bob Dawson in Ottawa is a name that I would throw out if folks don't know. But anyway, there's a number of good
Rona
people.
Ambrose, let me throw that one
That's
out
a great
there
name too. Don't let me forget to show Aaron Ambrose and Marie-Philippe Poulin at the World Championships. Later tonight, we'll get to that. Okay, Ian Cole, there's another story that's really, really interesting.
About 30 minutes before the broadcast tonight, the NHL released that he has been reinstated by the Tampa Bay Lightning after the league found no evidence to substantiate allegations against him. The key is that the league was unsuccessful in its attempts to reach the author of the Twitter post, including a direct request to send them a direct message. Now, after that, the National Hockey League Players Association released a statement of its own that they were upset about the circumstances, calling them grossly unfair, and said the league and the players would be having conversations in the future about how to proceed in these types of cases.
And two small stories on the ice. Elliot, you first on Chychrun.
Well, first of all, Jacob Chychrun, who's been out so far for Arizona, he is scheduled to join the team this week in Montreal to at least practice with the rest of the Coyotes. Not as firm a timetable yet on when he will resume playing, but he will rejoin the team to practice. I've heard from multiple sources that right now, between the Senators and the Coyotes, there just isn't a path to make a deal. That could always change once he resumes playing, but right now it doesn't appear to be on the table at all.
And really quickly, ECHL, Ron, this will hit you where you live. There's a new mandate for coaches and officials. And see that gentleman in the white shirt and the red tie? That's Ben Boudreau, the son of Vancouver Canucks head coach Bruce Boudreau, former employee here at Hockey Night in Canada. He's the head coach of Fort Wayne in the ECHL. There he is meeting with officials and also the head coach from the Wheeling Nailers. The new mandate, Ron, is 1 hour before game time. Both teams' coaches have to meet with the officials, try to turn the temperature down a little bit and develop more relationships between the coaches and the officials in the ECHL.
Really great to see that. Jeff Elliott, thanks to the 7 cities that hosted you on the 32 Thoughts podcast tour. That was brilliant work, and so was the segment.
Dryasaitl slow to get up, and he is going to really labor back to the Edmonton bench.
Dryasaitl tonight, every time he went down, it was an effort to get back up.
He laid it all out on the line. He gave as gutsy of an effort as anybody. Huge props to Dryasaitl.
When we last saw you, we saw you just unbelievably hanging on during the playoffs. How bad was it?
It was bad. I mean, it wasn't great. It didn't feel good. It was painful at times, but wouldn't change it for the world.
Did anyone ever say to you, you can't go?
It was close. But I think at the end of the day, it was always my decision to get back out there, and I've learned a lot of things along the way too.
What did you learn?
I've learned that I can play an effective hockey game without 2 really strong legs. I had to find a way to be a little more creative, and I think that helps me grow as a player, helps me grow as a person.
Rangers having trouble changing here. McDavid, beautiful move. What can you say?
You and Connor McDavid, how much do you guys talk during the offseason?
Yeah, we talk a lot. We talk a lot about our team, talk a lot about us individually, what we can do better to bring to our group. Connor wants to win so badly. All of us want to win really badly. So we talk a lot of conversations about our team.
And McDavid scores! Game winner! Series winner!
I bet you guys are pretty brutally honest with each other.
Yeah, we are very honest with each other.
So tell me, like, what's the most brutally honest thing that you have ever said to Connor McDavid?
This summer, I said to him that he needs to score 60 goals because I know that he can. And I think he should be every year. He's just that unselfish.
What did you say?
He said, I know. But he knows. But yeah, that was something I was honest with him about.
Is there one thing that you, in your own mind, you're saying, we got to get better at that?
Yeah, we have to get better at everything.
Would you like to expand on that?
No. You can do that. You know everything.
I say this as a compliment. Neither of you guys are good actors. Like when you guys are losing, you wear it on your faces. And I think there's something to be said for the rest of the team kind of feeds off you guys. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, sometimes you just need that. You need someone to be like, hey, Leon, come on, we got this. That's a good feeling to have.
Dryasaitl got Hyman, scored!
Beautiful pass by Leon Dryasaitl.
I saw the NHL paid player poll this year. They named you the best passer in the league, your peers. What did you think when you saw that?
Expected. No,
I appreciate the honesty.
No, I take big pride in my passing. I think the guys that have played with me, they know that. So that truly means the world to me.
So this year, when all the Oilers get together in Edmonton for the start of the season, what's going to be said?
That it's going to be hard to get to the playoffs again. We have to make sure that we're ready to get back into that, because we've done it in 2017. We were a goal away from going to the conference finals, and we missed the playoffs the next 2 years, right? It's hard to do it over and over again.
It's funny because I thought you would have said, we're going for the Stanley Cup this year.
We are going for the Stanley Cup, but I think there's a process to get there first, right? And that is sometimes harder than actually being there.
Playercast brought to you guys by Coca-Cola, and we got a lot of stuff we want to talk about. I'm just happy you guys were able to watch a second, because my back was hurting from carrying this for the first.
You did.
Let's see. It scores 4-3. Let's just recap the second really quickly and how we got here. It was 4-1 for Calgary heading into the second. Then you couldn't keep him off the board too long. Great pass by Vander Kane between his legs over to 97, the captain. And then you're like, uh-oh, they're coming now. Because you're not keeping the greatest offensive player in the world off the board. So you're thinking he's going to be getting another one. Here's actually another look at it right here on the power play. Go down low. They're going to put it to Vander Kane. And he just throws it between his legs back there. It's so fast. Even the way he shoots is so fast.
Yeah, he does. No, it's a good point. Everything is just gone.
So fast. So now we got 4-2, and everyone's like, uh-oh. He's going to do something. He's coming back. Connor McDavid's going to get another one. It's going to be Leon Draisaitl. No. It's Ryan McLeod that makes it 4-3 with 5 minutes left to go in the second. Not McDavid, not Draisaitl, McLeod. And now we got a game at 4-3.
What are they saying in the locker room, Rivs? Take Edmonton. You take Edmonton. What are they saying?
Well, you know what? They're going into their rooms with completely different feelings. If you're the Edmonton Oilers, you are pumped. You cannot wait to get into that locker room. They were dead. They were out. They were done. The game was over at 4-1. But I'm going to tell you, you never quit. You claw back. Now you're sitting there in your dressing room in Edmonton, and you're saying, one shift at a time, boys. All we need is one goal. Let's tie this thing up, and I'm going to tell you right now, we will come back and win this game.
Who's got the next one, boys?
That dressing room.
Okay.
Who's got the next one?
Let's get a little bet going.
20 miles, 20 smiles.
Hold on. We can't do it yet, because we can only do that for overtime. We can't just pick who's going to get the next goal. I still think Calgary's winning this game.
I didn't say pick who the next goal. I'm saying that's what guys are saying in the locker room in Edmonton. One shot. We're one shot away. Who's got the next goal? That's all I'm saying.
And the way they came back in their first game, the way they played and the way they came back, they think that they can come back from 3 goals at any time.
Yes, they can. But I'm going to tell you this. This is going to be a great test for the Calgary Flames. This is going to get to show the people that have watched Calgary for years. And, I think they won their division last year, if I'm not mistaken. This is a very good hockey team. This is game number 2 of the NHL season. We're going to get to see what type of team the Calgary Flames are in this third period.
What do you think Sutter's saying? Boys, if you screw this one up, we're skating all practice tomorrow.
Guys, we're about to go to Puck Drop. Before we do, let's not forget sportsnet.ca/magic moments. Our friends at Coke are giving away $350 every week. You can buy some more cans if you win, PD, and throw it up on your wall behind you. But again, sportsnet.ca/magic moments. Again, Coke, thanks so much. $350. You have to put in the password. It's the code word. It's the secret word. Refreshing. I'm going to give it some quotations. Refreshing. Put it in for a chance to win $350, and maybe Andrew Peters will come over and bring you a case of Coke.
I'd love to.
I'd love to. Refreshing. This third rum and Coke that I've had, that's refreshing. Cheers.
Cheers.
Good for you, Riv. You deserve it, man.
You do deserve it.
You deserve it. Because I know you, and I know how hard your heart was beating during all that technical difficulties. I'm sitting here, I'm not lying to you, I'm calm, I'm like, we'll get on when we get on, Rivs, I know Rivs. Rivs is like, he's messaging me, he's like, what's going on? Are you connected? Can you hear me? I'm just glad you're alive and made it through.
Is what if that was me and I had to talk? And I'm watching the whole time because I'm calm, cool, and collected. I know Petey's just hanging out at his Coke Palace there behind him. I'm sitting there thinking, good on you for taking the reins there. You did a great job in the first, just like Calgary Flames did a great job in the first. Then you dropped the ball in the second.
Just like Calgary. And now we got ourselves a game. There's our Coke. Cheers. Cheers. There's our Coke sign. Cheers. Let's go. Here we got a second. Pucks in deep. Get pucks in deep. Kenny Reed, favorite line. Get pucks in deep. And this is what you want every time. I'll tell you right now, people listening at home, if you're a player on the ice and Dryasaitl or McDavid in the third period are in your defensive zone, they're on the attack, just say you're squeezing your stick a little tighter. We'll use other words as the year goes on, but you're so nervous, like you don't want to be the person making the mistake. You know if they get one,
they've gone back to the 80s and 90s, up the boards, chip it out. They're playing to survive, man. Calgary's like, oh my God, Edmonton is buzzing to start.
Listen, they cannot sit back. Calgary's got tons of scoring themselves. They've got a ton of dangerous players. They've got to go out and they've got to earn this period. That's it. They've got to outwork Edmonton.
And these are, even that right there by Edmonton, it was a 1-on-3, it became a 2-on-3. They gave up too much space at the blue line, and it allowed this whole play right now is because of the defense did not take away the time and space of Calgary. It happened so quick. I know a forward had the puck there, but it just, and it leads to a scoring opportunity. But that's a good
shift for them, though. That's a good shift for them right there.
Great shift for them. I mean, but it starts at the blue line. And it's a 2-on-3, and Calgary not committing themselves to playing physical and taking away time and space. Sorry, Edmonton not taking away time and space from Calgary. And this results in, you're not scoring on that shot, but it's still.
How does Kadri not get a hooking penalty there?
How much confidence are you going to gain as the backup for both teams?
Both teams are in
here tonight. There's going to be one goaltender that's going to walk out of this game tonight and really gain some confidence.
Well,
who is it? Is there one right now that you can say?
Stuart Skinner, I think, hasn't given up a goal yet since coming in. I think it was 4-1 when they changed up Jack Campbell.
That's right.
So I don't think he's, mind you, at the same time, I don't think since that change in nets, I don't think Calgary has done much offensively. You just saw that little pop gun shot that they took from the side. It's just not enough. And again, here's a simple little chip change. That's what you're going to do. Oh, no, go chase it down. But again, it's a 1-on-2. They can't keep control of that puck. That's too easy. First to the puck again, Calgary.
Yeah, look how fast that guy was on that puck.
That's Coleman.
Coleman.
These are the guys here too. You need, he's not a big scorer, okay, but let me tell you, he's a junkyard dog. He plays the game the right way. Won a couple. What did he win? 2 Stanley Cups or just
Tampa?
Oh,
I think you won 2.
We got a penalty, gentlemen, and I don't know who it's on. We'll let you know in a minute here.
Ribs, I'd just like to know what you bring to this. If you don't know, like you missed the first period, it's a penalty. I know who it's on. Like, I mean, Petey and I are doing all the work. There's another one. Brent Kulak, former Montreal Canadian, left shot defenseman, good skater. Where they're calling it, I'm not. There it is right there. High stick.
Tried to get under his stick to lift his stick and caught him in the face.
Yeah.
You're right, Riv. Coleman did win 2 cups. And on top of that, those are the types of players that you need to win. I mean, those are the types of players. Who's the guy that went to the Rangers from Tampa? Barclay Goodrow. Same kind of thing.
Power play, so fun to watch. The players are so skilled now. Though I don't understand the new setup. I know.
Peach, as much as you're watching literally some of the most skilled players in the world snap the puck around in a skill set, look at how outstanding the penalty killers are of these teams.
Totally. So fast.
Is that a save? That was a great save.
So I agree. It's so taut though now. Like it's so taut. And like my thing here is like no one's really on a one-timer, so that's a catch. I hate these setups like this. You watch, it was a left-handed shot, crosses across to a right-handed shot, and he can't catch it, so he has to catch it and then throw it. He's not ready to receive it in one-timer.
Craig, can I ask you a question? Because
there's a cross-body one-timer.
I wasn't a power play guy, PJ. I don't know if you were a power play guy or not. I'm going to assume not, but.
A big save right there. Holy jumping.
Look, yes, stop and shoot that.
Craig, how many different variations of a power play can there possibly be that the penalty killers haven't seen before?
Stick angle.
They're so well scouted before the game, the pre-scouts and everything. It's like they know what they're doing. It's incredible.
It's just different. It's different formations. Like, we're looking at the Calgary power play, and just like PJ said, that pass was just made across to the other side of the ice to a guy who's on his strong hand side, okay? Meaning he's not one-timing the puck. If you look at Edmonton, you have Leon Dryasaitl on the other side of the ice. That would have been one time there from Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
So it's the power plays are just different. When you're playing the Washington Capitals, you basically know exactly what you have to watch for. You have the most dangerous power play guy in the last 15 years in Alex Ovechkin. So it's just, oh my, another massive save.
That was a shot block, I think, to the chest.
Really?
Yeah.
That was instant analysis. That was a shot block to the chest.
Goaltender, or
by the way,
that defenseman blocking shots.
Noah Finn. What the fuck? I'm gonna give him a new name now. Noah Finn. Here he is on that side. Yeah. Oh, he has. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Lord, is this guy dangling? Who is that?
That's Stuart Skinner. Came in to replace Jack Campbell. He's like 9 feet tall.
Goaltender.
Talking about the goalie.
Who's number 29?
Leon Draisaitl is kind of okay. Just throwing that out there. Dylan Dubé.
Calgary.
Or Ken Dryden. And then what year? Gino Ochek. Look, there's
Mac Weegar, Riv. There's Mac Weegar. Uh-oh. A good recovery. Wow.
So, on that power play, there was about 4 chances to pass there, but no one was in a one-timer. No one had a one-timer, so it's the pass was looking. There's a one-timer right there set up, and that's
that's a terrible shot.
Big opportunity missed there by Calgary.
All that Calgary Flames buzzing around, and you have Noah Hannafin gets on the ice, flies down. There is nobody screening the goaltender, and he takes a shot on net there. That is not the time you shoot the puck on net. The goaltender got saved 99% of the time. There's no one net front there.
I like how they do that. I like how they show who the players are.
You know who's been real quiet tonight?
Not you.
Careful, PJ.
I put in an extra period of work. I'm allowed to make fun of you guys.
I just can't believe that you're not just relaxing back there. But who, Riv?
When was the last time we've seen Jonathan Huberdeau?
Yeah, he's been quiet. So
has he made a play tonight? What has he made? What has he done here tonight?
Yeah, my pet peeve. I'm gonna give so last year when they were talking about players that were up for the MVP of the league, and I really have a heart. I know he had an amazing year, most assists. He's a brilliant talent. I don't want to take anything away from him. I rather credit some of the other players because he had an amazing year. Hey, Coke's there, ching ching, Coca-Cola. There's magic.
I've had like 4
together
tonight.
So let's cheer. But they have an amazing line, by the way. It's Elias Lindholm, Tyler Toffoli, and Jonathan Huberdeau. So it's kind of a combo. Toffoli can sleep on nights as well. But they're amazing skill sets. One's a great passer, one's a great shooter. And Lindholm's just a great talent. But I have a hard time. They locked up their middle. Kadri was a big signing. They got Lindholm. They got Backlund. But it's a lot of money to give to wingers. I have a hard time. Ovechkin's Ovechkin, obviously. But it's,
Oh my God.
so important to have that center line.
Oh my God, I want them to tie it up. Sorry, PJ.
No, I'm just rapping about how I have a hard time, like, OV's OV, but OV's not OV without Backstrom. That's just me.
Look at their contracts. Oh my God, look at this. They line up together. Like, it's not about winning cups there anymore. It's about Ovi breaking Gretzky's record and then Backstrom being a part of it. In my opinion. Sorry, I'm talking and watching the game, which is what I think
That's what we should be doing.
That's what we're supposed to be doing.
Simple breakout in there, soft dump, towards the net, far corner, soft dump. Hit him! That's what you have to do. At least
Do
make it better than that.
No, where did he
Bad
come
change,
from?
bad change. That's, by the way, Calgary's goals, when we recap everything, two of them on rushes were on bad changes.
They did call it. They called it.
Hey, Ribs, there's your 29. Who's 29? Still in Dubé. Guess where Dylan's going? Brent, what do you think?
That is massive. By the way, Craig, Huberdeau has played.
Yeah,
I can read the card here. 13-22. 13-22. 1 shot, 1 hit, 2 takeaways. 10 million.
And again, if he doesn't, the biggest thing with a winger, if your centerman doesn't win the draw, you're in like no man's land.
That's when we have a responsibility to go and
help, but it's
do
hard
our
now.
thing.
It is. It's hard. By the way, 4 threes and scores. You can read it in the bottom of the screen. And this show is sponsored by Coke, and I think I've said it 900 times tonight. So I hope I get some product placement because for some reason Andrew built a wall. So I don't know.
How many cases of Coke did you go and pick up to build your wall of Coca-Cola?
Give or take about 170. You got to remember something.
Did you?
I have friends in low places. And
blame it all on my roots.
Yep.
I showed in boots.
I have a friend who
your black tie affair.
At the grocery store and
The
brought
last one
over
to know.
a bunch of Coke.
The
and
last one
stacked
to
it
show.
for, but I can't mention their name. Just understandable because they're in the States.
I was the last one you thought you'd see there. And I saw the surprise and the fear in his eyes when I took his glass of champagne. I toasted you, said, honey, we may be through, but you'll never hear me complain. You guys don't want to jump in?
I need a button that I can mute you.
Because I got friends in low places where the whiskey drowns. Where the rum and Coke drowns. There it is.
You have definitely had a few.
I haven't actually. I had no time. I've been talking for 3 hours while you guys were singing. And we're back. Here we go. Our first commercial break. For those that don't know this in the hockey world that are watching, there's a commercial after the 16-minute mark. Sorry, the 14-minute mark, the 10-minute mark, and the 6-minute mark. The first whistle after that, as long as it's not an icing or a penalty. So it goes to a commercial. So there's their first commercial. 12 minutes left to play in the game in the third period.
Do you know where I first learned that, PJ?
Don't
in the
just
middle
say right
of a
now.
game. No, in the middle of a game, sitting on the bench, listening to the players talk. I heard them say every 6 minutes or something there was a commercial. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Things you learn while you're rotting.
It's so true. Oh, it's so true. Me and the backup goalie and the backup trainer, no matter what team I played on, I was the only guy that every team has. So every morning there's power play meetings and penalty kill meetings, and Craig Rivet has to go to those. But I don't. I get to sit around and hang out by myself, the backup goalie and the backup trainer, and I would just learn. I learned how to sew guys' clothes together.
It was more fun that way, PJ. There were no egos around.
All the cookie monsters. All the cookie monsters go to those meetings, PJ. Oh, it's great. Take that. What's going on here? Look at this.
Here it is. Oh, this is gonna go down. I'm guys. We're gonna see overtime.
I don't want overtime.
We're gonna see overtime.
I just don't want a shootout. I want the league to go back to ties, but I don't want to get into that with anyone tonight.
I don't mind.
Sick of the shootout.
Connor McDavid played 3-on-3.
Yeah, I like 3-on-3. I'd love to see though a penalty at 3-on-3 go to 3-on-2.
Thank you.
I don't like.
You know what, PJ? Under the 3 hours that you've spoken, that is the most brilliant thing you've said, and you said a lot of smart things.
Oh, that's
but
good.
that right there is the most brilliant thing because I couldn't agree with you anymore.
Why do you get the other team gets to put an extra player on, but then it goes to 4-on-4 after that?
Now I don't know how to, and it ruins because you don't go right to a whistle, so you might get a minute and a half of 4-on-4 in a 5-minute period. But then to add to that, I heard somebody who would be in those situations say one time that a 4-on-3 is easier to kill, if I'm not mistaken, Craig.
It's hard. It's the star players that are going to be out there, and they don't want to be a 3-on-2 and get. It's all about the net, because we know you and I probably wouldn't play as much at those times, and Riv
wouldn't play as much. We wouldn't play. PJ, we wouldn't even see the ice middle of this game. Like
the people listening don't know that.
At
They don't know that.
At 4-1, we were going out to change the momentum. We were going to get in a fight, try to lift everybody's spirits on the bench.
They don't know. I put up I superimposed my head on a bunch of pictures behind me.
I had to go out there and fight to try to motivate the hungover guys.
But anyways, yeah, it's all about wear and tear on the superstars of the league. But there's Darnell right there putting up the stuff right now.
What were you gonna say, Rick?
Nothing.
Oh, come on. Oh my God!
You know, these are the times right here. You got McDavid on the ice. You got to watch.
But you also, again, it's also, he's going forward. It's also the time where you can catch him not going the back way. That's the one thing. He's such an amazing talent. And like right there, I know it's nothing. I just like that defenseman bumped in him a little.
That might look like a nothing save, but that's a big save right there.
Huge save.
Like that's a big save, man. Like
again, how is he getting a shot? How is Connor McDavid able to circle into the zone, pick up a puck, and then rip a shot from the slot area?
Because they're scared, man.
Well,
they're back in. It's like it's back up because Connor's on. We talked about that. It's 4-3, right? At 4-1, at 4-1, you was like, I'll hit him, I'll take him. Because now whoever makes that mistake, you're like, and you mentioned it, Sutter's going to have them on the farm tomorrow picking up hay or something. So no one wants to make a mistake. So back up's easier than stepping up and making a mistake.
Well, if you're going to play that way, you're going to get scored on. Connor McDavid's going to eat you alive if you play against him scared. Fair. You have to respect them, but you have to take away time and space. You have to be able to read the play and take away all the space that he's going to try and take.
You don't think the only way to play against Connor McDavid is scared? I mean, when he's on the ice, everybody's scared, with the exception of Cale Makar, because he's the only player in the league that can keep up with him.
That's exactly the play right there that we're just on. That's what he did. So watch. First of all, I'm defenseman, by the way, Craig, I vent. I hate when a defenseman stays on their backhand. He could have pulled it to his forehand, off the board and out. So he tries to make a backhand sauce play up the middle. You're on your forehand. You could have just put it off the glass and out. Instead, you try to do something on your backhand.
Or PJ, skate into the hit and chip it out on your forehand. Like,
that's a scared play.
Like 1,000,000%. That's a chicken shit play. I don't care. Like that is a textbook chicken shit play, footsteps. I'm gonna just throw it out of my backhand and try to live another day. He should have continued to drive through that check, take the hit,
bump it out.
Hard,
Listen, it's tough to execute these, okay? I know there's simple little plays, idiosyncrasies within the game that you have to try to execute, but you got to try to scoop that, get it out off the boards and out into the neutral zone. And
it leads to that play led to a chance that Craig was just venting about. And Connor McDavid just led to another icing, and you see the coach there, Jay Woodcroft, saying, "Now what do I? Who's
am
going
I
to get
being
me the
too
goal?"
hard on the defenseman there, Craig?
No, he totally pulled up.
Yes,
he totally pulled up.
Because 9 times out of 10, Noah Hannafin using a backhand is going to get it out 9 times out of 10. 9 times, like.
But in a 4-3 game, make the certain play.
What's that?
In a 4-3 game, make the certain play. Like it didn't cost them, but it's just one of those plays where it could have blown up in their face, and then all the wheels fall off.
Yeah, I think the play that should have been made is he needs to get it out. He needs to get it out. He got pulled to his backhand. It's very simple. Make the play. The players that make those plays are the players that win more hockey games. Period.
And you know, we're seeing right now is Dryasaitl trying to break down the side. By the way, it's just big and strong, but you know they had a little bit of life there. There's Mangiapane letting a shot go, and I think one of the things that I talked about this earlier, and I said Nugent Hopkins is in the right seat, but his entire line, you know, that line just hasn't really given you much, and you wait for the depth, and you're like, we talked about Edmonton, we talked about the importance of them signing Evander Kane, and you know Puljujärvi, they're always trying to find.
Why do you think Nugent Hopkins got so much, PJ? Because they can't bring anybody else in. They had to overpay him. He's not worth $6. Is he making $6 million?
Yeah. Well, they signed the 3 of them. Don't forget there was 3 of them off the hop, right?
Listen, Nugent Hopkins is an unbelievably talented player, and I have no business criticizing his game, okay? I don't.
No, I'm not criticizing.
I'm
saying
saying
he's not in the right
don't.
chair. He's not in the right spot.
PJ, I'm saying I don't have any business. I don't care what you do. I have no business criticizing Nugent Hopkins' game. But I'm going to say that he's not worth $6 million.
Well, let me ask you this question. You answer the question, say yes or no. If you had
how much, Garrett? Garrett, how much?
If you had a player that played 63 games last year,
still not worth 5,125,
and he had 50 points, is he worth $5.1 million a year on a 7-year contract?
Yes, the player gets $5 million, getting 50 points.
He is. He's not overpaid. He makes $5.1 million.
Okay, fine. My point is, they should have spent that 5.125 or whatever it is somewhere else. Is what they should have done. Like go and get a Mason Marchment, not bring back a Nugent Hopkins type player. Now I know the timetable doesn't.
Maybe they tried to get Mason Marchment. Mason Marchment signed for $4.1 million, and he signed in Dallas.
Okay, I'm not a Nugent Hopkins lover. I think he's a great player. I just think the Oilers, you know, like they have too many guys like that.
Yes. And that's kind of what
that's going to be Buffalo's problem in 2 years.
Well, there's a lot of teams like that again, and it goes back to all the players are the same now. They're all the
up.
same.
That's another brilliant thing.
They're all the same. There's no but it goes back to what coaching is at younger ages. And how we glorify players that do things and don't appreciate players like a Ben Sherratt that does a lot of little things that make the other players around them better. You look at all these star players, they need it. Now, I'm not going to take a shot at this, but like they all need a Zach Hyman. And Zach Hyman is a super talented hockey player. But Zach Hyman is just a guy that grinds and works hard. It's funny how all the superstars just need a plugger to play with. Normally you think, what? They need a skill set. No, they need a guy to do all the dirty work for them because a lot of them don't know how to do the dirty work. And
you're right. Toronto Maple Leafs did not want to lose Zach Hyman.
No.
You talk about Austin Matthews, you talk about Mitch Marner, John Tavares, William Nylander. These are all super highly skilled players. Hyman plays a style. He's an up and down winger. He's very strong in the puck. He can score some goals. Last year, he scored 27 goals last year for Edmonton.
Yeah. helps playing with Connor.
Well, he had 5 in the first 5 games, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it helps playing with Connor. But yeah, the reason why
with Austin Matthews, what's the difference?
No, all I'm saying is Connor's going to get the double. You're going to be open. But my point is, you have to go every time there's a loose puck, someone has to go battle and do it. And my point about Connor earlier in the night was that he's always going to be like this. He's always ready to go. He's already Pavel Bure. He's already bam, and he's gone. But he can't go unless the team gets the puck. And there's not enough guys that are willing to do that dirty stuff to get the puck. And it sucks for some people, but you got to go in, block a shot with your face, dive into the corner, do whatever you can to bump the puck to Connor McDavid. That's kind of what their role is. Zach's brilliant at it, but there's a lot of guys that are kind of, is what I'm saying, is that do it really, really, really well. The problem is once they get their 30 goals, they then get their contracts that come with guys that get 30 goals. And then their price point now is you're there to play with Connor, who makes, all the money.
Yep.
And now you're being paid as a guy that we needed you because you weren't making much and you were great to do that. And that's why these guys have a good year. Tampa Bay, every year they win a cup or do well. All the trickle-down guys are comparatives. They have a great year and they all get more money. And it's
You know who I do love in Edmonton? Is Yamamoto.
Yeah.
He might not be very big, and that might be his downfall to how he plays, but he has edge. I mean, he's a feisty guy. Like he's not a big guy. He's 5'8", 153. But go watch him play. Like he's
nipping at your ankles.
We have 5:21 left to go in the third period. So it's early in the season. It is the Battle of Alberta. You're just getting started. It's a little bit of extended training camp.
We can change the name of Battle of Alberta right now to something else, like more like Shinny in Alberta, because this has not been a battle at all. It's been a great back and forth game with speed and skill, but it's not a battle. But that's fine. The game's changed and it's great. So
do you just shorten the bench completely if you're Calgary? Like, how important is
their fourth line's on the ice right now, PJ? They're not shortening the bench. You got Richie who's on the ice. You've got Milan Lucic who's on the ice. 4 minutes left.
Kevin Rooney. Yeah, there's Big Luch. What a force he was with Boston.
This is a coach putting trust in a 4 team.
You know what? I'll say this about Lucic. I remember lining up against him when he was a kid. He wouldn't say boo. He wouldn't say boo. I didn't even know that he was physical. And then all of a sudden, he explodes into this physical player, and he's one of my favorite players to maybe ever watch in the league with just how he's played. Like, maybe not lately, but when he was in Boston, and I just love the way he plays, man. But I just remember lining up beside him, and he was just going out to be a player.
You know, the funny thing is the game, Milan Lucic has had to change his game. You know, he's a 6'2", 6'3". He's 235 pounds, 230 pounds. He's extremely powerful. He's like a bull. But today's game is not about being a bull. You got to be able to skate. You got to be able to think the game. And he's done a nice job. He's not the same player as what he was in Boston.
I'm glad you said that, because I was going to come in hard in defense.
A little bit.
Sorry, let's finish up what you were saying there.
No, he's done a nice job changing to the style of the NHL. I mean, it's fast. All these players, these young players in the game are extremely fast, extremely skilled. Milan's done a nice job.
Yeah,
he's coming to the end of his career. He's done a nice job.
That's what I was saying is I was glad you were saying that, because I was going to come in hard and defend him. I think he's done a great job transitioning his game. He was heavily criticized when he was in Edmonton, and then he goes to Calgary, and he actually becomes an effective piece. And but I mean,
Now, granted, you gotta admit this. He gets a lot of his space from basically his reputation. Okay, like we are in a much different league now than it was when he came in, and he fought tough guys. He fought a lot of tough guys, and now we're in a league where there's a lot less of that, but he's still around, and he gets a lot of his space because of his reputation. I think he's taken advantage of that. That's for sure. Yeah. And he's a very skilled player too, by the way, which also goes unnoticed.
We have 3 minutes left to go. There's something happening at the blue line right now. I can't see what it was. Looks like it was Evan Bouchard of taking a whack at someone. And there's 3 minutes left. Does Dryasaitl, here goes Connor wide. Just keep him outside. And that's a great skater.
Oh, drop past that.
Rasmus Anderson, Calgary has some great defensemen. You saw Hannafin in front of the net right there that can skate with Connor. And you saw him coming down the left-hand side. Just watch this. Here he comes. Keep him on the outside. Don't let him cut. Look at him falling behind the net. Just stay with him. Stay on the inside the entire time. Follow him up. And where other teams get in trouble is where you let him go for a second.
Yeah. Listen. Play right there with the two Calgary players. I think one's Kadri. They got caught up there. There needs to be communication. That's where goals and breakdowns happen, right there without the communication. That could have been in the net right there.
When do they pull the goalie, fellas? When do they pull the goalie?
You just had Connor and you just had the guys on the bench. You take your top line off, you put on the Nugent Hopkins line because you're loading it up right now. By putting McDavid and Dryasaitl probably and Kane together. So you make the problem is they can never find a second last minute line. So here's right here.
Get it deep.
Tyler, the Foley pumps it deep. 2:25 left. Hold it. Heads up.
Oh boy. Oh my God. That would have been it.
He had it. That's your boy, Huberdeau. He's a passer, though, not a shooter. What a year he had last year.
Oh, that's a tough play back to the D right there.
Yeah, you can't do that.
That point in the game? No.
So that's Calgary's fourth line, by the way, guys. You talked about teams that here's a coach getting the line ready to be, this is what you're going to do in the playoffs.
Oh, this is him allowing these guys to go out and wear these guys down. You got McDavid on the ice. Or
here it comes. Draisaitl's like, stop touching the puck, moron. Give it to me.
Winding it up. Here they go.
But look, time and space.
Oh.
I don't even think he needs a shot there.
Timeout, boys. Timeout right now.
You have to take it now.
Face off in your own zone.
You got to get offensive zone. Offensive zone. But you can't leave Connor on for a minute and a half. Well, you leave him on now, and you get a face-off.
Yes, you can. You can leave him on, because you don't want to allow Calgary to rest their defenders.
It's the fourth line. So
not the fourth line right now. They just put Backlund out there, Lewis. These are all their defenders. These are the best defenders they have.
There's Johnny. Not a great night.
He's been quiet. He's
been quiet.
He's been quiet tonight.
You know who was quiet tonight? You guys in the first period. And it was a great first period.
And you know what? People missed out on Riv's brilliance. Because I'm going to tell you something. I've worked with this guy for 7 years. And I've learned a lot from Craig Rivet, man.
Oh, shut up with the love fest here for crying out loud.
No, I don't care.
Save it for the end credits.
Guys,
I love Rivet.
Guy, DJ, I'm telling you, you should let him talk more.
It looks. I'm waiting for him to break out like in a bookkeeping class or something.
By the way, I forgot to mention before we get out of here, Brian Giunta is a regular on our podcast as well, and he comes on every week, and we got cut off for the end of the period, so I wanted to mention that.
It went on like a 5-minute monologue about it. I didn't know how much.
I thought we had more. I thought we had more time on the clock.
This is the game right here, gentlemen.
They need a timeout. This is where they need their timeout. The big line for Edmonton's been on now for a bit. They were on before the icing, before the save, sorry.
And they're almost going to be...
By the way, that was a perfect example of fronting. Leave the guys behind you and go get the... Oh, my God. There it is. There it is. There's your Blake Coleman. That's why you go pick him up from Tampa Bay. But then again, there's this Connor kid. Okay.
Get it out.
Kadri.
God, come on.
Smart play. Put it in no man's land. Another Kadri play offside. There's your timeout. You have to take it here. This gives us a chance to talk about Andrew's hair.
No, what I'm going to say is they're going to call a timeout here, would they not?
They're putting the goalie back in. For some reason, it looks like they're not.
Well, the face-off's going to be taken.
The offside dot.
Edmonton's. You got to put your goaltender.
They took it. No. You don't put your goalie in here. You don't put your goalie in.
I know these athletes are amazing athletes, but they were on the ice way too long to recover in the timeout.
You need a timeout. No question.
They're still gonna. But they're still gonna be tired.
Yeah, but hold on. Ribs was about to do this, and I want to argue with Ribs. You don't put your goalie back in right now. Who cares if you lose 5-3? You need that extra body to get the puck.
No, you don't. No, you don't, PJ, because the extra guy is not going to be a factor if you lose the draw.
Who cares if you lose it?
The puck's going in the net.
There's 30 seconds left. You've had 59 minutes and 30 seconds to get the goal.
Then you pull the goaltender immediately.
Okay, it's going to take 10 seconds for him to get off the ice.
It would only take you 10 seconds to get off the ice. These guys.
Okay, there it is, right there. Oh, wow, he stopped it behind the net. Here he's in the net, 22.
There he goes.
10 seconds.
Here he's going. This is Calgary. They got to defend here. They got to. Oh my Lord! How is Dryasaitl? That
game over. You know why? They shouldn't have put the goalie back in the net.
Oh my God! That was like a playoff game ending.
That was awesome.
How about Darth Vader?
That's awesome.
That's a great win.
Attaboy, Danny.
We talked about how Calgary was going to come out in the third period. We talked about that. What type of team are they? That's a big victory for the Calgary Flames.
Oh my God! What a
save.
That was an accident, but we'll take it, right?
What another save.
Oh my God. Yeah, they thought so. I thought so too. I wonder if this guy's on the hot seat there. No, probably not. Coach
Woodcroft.
Yeah,
they got him in the conference finals last year. They beat Calgary. It's only Saturday.
They're 1-1.
Yeah, it's just just relax. Take a breath, buddy. I don't know if you guys are on the hot seat for missing the whole first period. I'm just saying that too. By the way, got to give some love to all Stuart Skinner who jumped in. And by the way, this is our first time doing this show, so I'm actually going to ask our producers in our ear, Thomas, Two-Sip Stewart, and Garrett, who's in my ear. Garrett, now what do we do? We're going to recap the first period. Let's go. Are we going to show it, or am I just going to talk about it? So the period started right here. Early start of the game. First shot, not the first shot, early in rebound. Jack Campbell, of course, coming over from the Leafs. Got on the board early, and then it was 1-1 shot from the point. Couple lost faceoffs in a row, and it's just, I mean, we broke this down earlier, but before Ribs and I were talking about the front presence by the defense. And here's kind of the game of the game, which is there's Ribs on defense. This is all in the first 8 minutes of the game. Looks like Ribs highlight tape right there where they fell over backwards, but that's Kadri, the newest player for the Calgary Flames. Here's some more Kadri. Again, first period, first 10 minutes, Kadri again. That's where he got an assist. Mangiapane on the back door. That would make it 4-1. We'd make a goalie change. We're going to show it again. Why not? There's Campbell trying to look. Gets bumped in by his own defender. Sorry. That's the goal that made it 4-1 right there. Shot from the point. Doesn't see it. In the net. How's she going? High five. Everyone's exciting. That's Michael Stone getting the goal. That's only the first period. I got to talk to my producer again because there's two other periods. Producer, are you going to show the other two periods, or am I just going to talk about the first period?
Well, basically, the first period was the whole game. Edmonton was just trying to play catch up, and Calgary, you know, they did what they had to do. I mean, they let in a couple, made it a bit of a game, but I mean, come on. I mean, they only need 4 to win. If you can't win with 4 goals in the first period, you are. And I think Calgary knew they were able to sustain McDavid and Dryasaitl, and that's basically all they have. And
how many times have you gone in to a locker room in between a period? You're down by 3 goals. 3, not 2, not 4, 3. What is the cardinal rule? What is the most popular saying in hockey?
Nothing against.
Ribs, I'm looking at you and thinking you have one of those like painter tops on.
Is the worst lead in hockey. A 3-goal lead is the worst lead in hockey.
Used to be 2. Used to be 2.
Now it's 3.
It is 3. How many times over the history of the game in the last few years have we seen a 3-goal lead blown?
Because why?
Guys, just keep talking, but here's a little stuff from Dan Bledard tonight. It was, again, 3rd year in the league, 1 year with Boston, where he only played 5 games. Last year's record, he went 13-6-2 with a .906 save percentage, and his work tonight against one of the more offensive teams in the league and getting a big win on the year. Go on, guys, keep yapping.
Yeah, no, this is massive for him, and it's massive for the Calgary Flames, because now they know if something happens to Markstrom, they have this guy, and he already knows, I have beaten the Oilers and McDavid and Draisaitl once this year. I can do it again. The players in front of him can trust him. That's most important. You get a backup goalie going net, they are like, guys get nervous. They play different in front of a backup than they do a number 1. And now their team knows, Calgary knows, that they can trust their backup and they can play, you know, a little bit differently. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well,
then you can.
I hope you guys can trust your backup next week, guys. 4-3 final tonight, Calgary over Edmonton. Next week, you got these 2 guys together. Again, the early game, you can get Steve Dangle, who's going to be upset about his Leafs, who had a big win today. Playercast presented by Coca-Cola. Thank you very much. Andrew and Craig next week have Buffalo and Vancouver. Vancouver was in action today against the Flyers. Guys, 30 seconds, wrap up. I'll go first because, well, I just said you got 30 seconds and I'm the first guy to do it. Not enough depth in Edmonton. It's one game. It's one game that we're doing tonight. I watched the last game as well. If it's not for Draisaitl or McDavid, there's just nothing coming. The back end just has to get more physical.
Are you taking the whole 30?
I get 30. We each get 30. So I'll do the math for you. You get it. It's 90s. Okay. Just sit there and have a Coke. So I'm just giving my preseason thoughts or week 1 thoughts. Edmonton, their back end has to get more physical, or this is going to be an ongoing problem. They don't have the depth up front. Same thing as Craig mentioned early. I like Calgary. I like their depth. I don't think they had a great game tonight because they came out at 4-1 after the first period, and they kind of like, that's point night. And then they never really got back into it. 30 seconds of PJ, 30 seconds of Andrew.
Okay, I need 5 seconds. Calgary Flames are for real. Brad Treliving is already the general manager of the year.
Craig Rivet.
Nazem Kadri. He's the one guy that stuck out for me in Calgary. He got this team rolling right off the hop. He really played a strong brand of hockey, and the Calgary Flames, that's a big win for them. They dropped the ball a little bit in the second period, but they finished real strong. Big win.
Buffalo at Vancouver next week. You're going to see these 2 guys, those 2 guys. I don't know what you know when you're on. Everything's opposite, like when you're doing it this way. So that way, so it's not that way. So it's that way. Those guys are that way. They're up next. They're going to be next week for Buffalo and Vancouver. And thanks a lot. Week 1, again, 24 weeks, lots of fun. Tonight took a little bit of time to get our wheels rolling, but it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coca-Cola. Battle of Alberta, 1-0 for Calgary in the series. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Well, next, we're going to add in comments. We're going to add in stuff. We're going to add in prizes. Again, $350 a week, a chance to win. Today's code word was refreshing. We'll see you all next week.